feel like they're in the game. Sydney would love to have 1 or 2 goals in the first 3 or 4 minutes, or keep it 0-0 and just quiet the crowd right down. Adelaide love to kick the first 2 and get that, what do you call it, Gemma? The 19th man, is it?
That's what it is. Yeah,
the 19th man behind them. So, look, it's going to be a cracking start. And because these two are great contested teams, great stoppage teams, and like the game last night, those first 15 minutes is what I'm really looking forward to, and what you always look forward to in finals.
And I think it's going to be huge. I think we can expect a massive focus on pressure from Sydney in that first 15 minutes. One, to calm themselves down, because this is an intimidating place to come and play footy in finals. Obviously that 19th man, or whatever factor you want to call it, the crowd is a huge influence on this game, but they just want to get in there and be relentless and ruthless as they have been in the past. Their problem, Sydney, has been able to maintain that intensity for the full game. They shut down Hawthorn in the first quarter, and they had no way of scoring or generating any ball, but trying to maintain that and get 4 quarters of footy, because we've seen lapses of Sydney in the last few weeks where they've had 6 or 7 goals kicked against them. They'll be aiming to get off to a good start, but carry it right through the game.
Do you think we get a sense of, we saw the Hawthorn-Collingwood game last night, and it was really physical, and there was little dust, ups going around the ground. It's difficult to do that now, but do we expect anything like that today with any of the players from both sides?
I don't think so. I think Sydney always renowned for how they go about the footy, and I haven't watched a huge amount of Adelaide, but I haven't seen really too much of Adelaide doing that. They might have a couple who put the chest out and a bit of huff and puff, but as you say, what can you do nowadays? It's bump of the shoulders, it's rub your head in the ground, that kind of thing, but you can't do too much else. But I think just the ability for both teams just to get it, quick kick, move it on, get it inside 50, spend some time down there early just to settle everyone down. That's going to be really the focal point. The first 20 minutes, I don't reckon there's going to be any space for anybody to get loose and run and carry the ball. And after that, then the game slowly opens up, and will take its time to do that. But it might be, in the third or fourth quarter before that happens.
The big chest of Anthony Tucker, Matt, will be the one down on the ground.
Sydney out on the ground, starting their warm-up ahead of the official proceedings. Adelaide make their way out onto Football Park. This fairy tale start under Brenton Sanderson, finishing second on the ladder and ensuring the home final. 17-5. A tremendous start to Sanderson's coaching career, and a great turnaround from last season. 7 wins to 17 in 2012. Anthony Tucker is in the front row of the stands. Tux, describe what it's like down at ground level.
Oh, g'day, Matt, and everyone. It's a fantastic atmosphere as always here at Football Park when the Crows are playing, and in the finals especially. And normally a good guide is how many empty seats are in the northern stand. There's probably only 500 to 600 empty seats up there. A few empty ones down the front in the members, but looking for a crowd of 45,000 plus. The oval, as always, is in perfect nick. The wind southwest, maybe worth 1 to 2 goals to the northern end, currently around 14 or 15 degrees. Now, with a late change, we'll mention that again. Morton is in for the Swans, and out goes Tom Walsh. And the benches for Adelaide: John Cox, Smith, Callanan, with Aidan Riley as the sub for Sydney. Malcheski, Bird, Jetta on the bench with Luke Parker as the sub. It's been well documented. Adelaide have a very good record against the Swans, leading 22-10 overall, won 12 their past 14. Look out for Ryan O'Keefe today. He's had a very good year. He's averaged 27 disposals and kicked 7 goals in his last 5 games against the Crows. And the Swans, just 4 players out there today from their 2005 premiership team. One up in the box there in Craig Bolton, but Adam Goods, Ryan O'Keefe, Jude Bolton and Lewis Roberts Thompson out there for the Swans from that 05 premiership team. We'll have the toss very shortly.
Anthony Tucker down on the boundary. Craig Bolton, Matty Primus, Rod Jamieson. Tell us who you think is going to win and why.
Oh, look, it is going to be a tough game, isn't it, too? I think I look at Adelaide and I look at some of the stats right across the year that's got them to this particular point. And when you have a look at the contested football, it's clearly where a lot of sides clearly identify what needs to be won. And Adelaide have been able to do that 14 more times on average than any other side in the AFL and sit number 1. I think when they the amount of football that they win and get it inside 50, they also are number 1 in that particular area too. And just having got the goal scorers and the targets for Adelaide, if you've got such a solid midfield winning the contested football, you got Kurt Tippett that's kicked 34 goals, Taylor Walker who's kicked 53. Then you go down to the smaller players. Ian Cullinan's kicked 38. Jared Petrenko chips in for 16, and Graham Johncock along that with 17. And you've got Richard Douglas that's come back into form. Jason Paul-Pleasure slowly starting to do that too. And one for mine that gets his hand on the football really quickly, and has been doing it very well and consistent all year is Sam Jacobs. And I love the way he's been thinking around his football and where he runs and where he goes, and he has been stretching his opposition ruckman to go forward to kick goals. He's really contributed to that and puts himself in a position where he's not going to interfere with the rest of his teammates to be able to create space and receive the football. I think the back line too is up and about. They're running, they're carrying the football, and the rotations through the middle of the ground. So look, there's so many players that they have to be concerned about, and that's clearly, Josh Kennedy's the one to win the football in the middle for Sydney. I think there's a long list of other good players too, with Kieran Jack and Daniel Hanbury that continually win the football. But then they've got the smaller players up forward. If they can negate Sam Reid, which I think Daniel Talia will get that role, they've got some smaller players that they can get on top of. But in terms of the games right across the weekend, Craig, I think it's going to be one of the real tighter games, or the tighter finishes, with both sides almost mirror imaging each other.
Absolutely. I think we can expect a real arm wrestle, and the game will no doubt break open at some point, but you can expect, given the way these two sides play, their contested possession style and what they pride themselves on, it's going to be a real arm wrestle to start at least. My concern from the Swans' point of view is the absence of Heath Grundy. I think it's a huge omission going into this game. I think it's going to create problems in terms of nullifying Adelaide's scoring power, which you've just touched on. They've got so many avenues to goal, and it's going to be really hard for players to actually roll off and support Lewis Roberts-Thompson and Ted Richards in those key defensive posts. So that's going to create problems. And I also think it's going to create problems up the other end of the park in their forward line. Adam Goods, there's going to be a huge reliance on him to stay up there and support Sam Reid rather than going into the midfield. Where Sydney have got a big chance, I think, is in their midfield. If they can get these players up and going, the guys who have been so outstanding all year, Josh Kennedy, Lewis Jetta, if he can return to form, Luke Parker, if he can get in there and make an impact when he comes off the bench, if they can get the ball in quickly, give their forwards first use, it will obviously reduce the chance at the other end for Adelaide to use their scoring power and get on top in that area. So I'm seeing an absolute ripping game, a close one, a very hard one to call, but I think in terms of the absence of Heath Grundy, that might be the tipping point and put in Adelaide's favour.
And Matty, for you sit back and have a look at both sides?
Statistical-wise, and the key areas, the stoppage stuff, they're both great, hence why they finished second and third. Creating turnovers, scoring off them, Sydney have been pretty good at that, a lot better than Adelaide have during the year, so I think that will be a key component, how well they can get at Adelaide, get the ball off them and then score off them, if they can get back to what they were before the last month or so of footy. We know they're going to be tackling at it, number one team Sydney, Adelaide are mid-table. If Sydney can match them with the clearances and actually force the ball forward, keep bringing pressure at them, try and shut them down as much as they can, that's where they're going to get their plus inside 50s against them. And if they can't do that, I really can't see them getting over the line. I just think Adelaide are just up and about. Their confidence is great. A couple of key omissions, as we've talked about. Once again, like you guys, it'll be close, but I think Adelaide will be 3 or 4 goals up by the end of the day.
I think Lewis Jetta is a real significant advantage to Sydney too. If Sydney can get it out of the defence, or a quick clearance to his ability to be able to have a lot of space to be able to have a shot on goal, and that's where I think that will dictate as to whether Graham Johncock will be forward or whether he'll go back.
Along with Kennedy, but he had Bolton back in there. Hanbury gets in there, he can get some inside, but he can get some outside like Jetta. I think McGlynn's very good at the outside ball, and that's where Sydney have, hence why they finished so high up the ladder this year. Those guys have been able to run and carry the ball, and as I said, they're really high in handballs, Sydney, and that's something they probably haven't been well known for, but they've got a great balance of that contested, competitive stuff inside, but then they can really hurt you on the break, and that'll be interesting to see who Adelaide try and come and shut down.
And you speak about Jetta, obviously his mate Goods, they've been 2 of Sydney's best players all season, but their last month has been a serious decline in form, and you look at the last time these two sides matched up, Goods kicked 5 goals, Jetta had 27 possessions and 2 goals himself, so they'll play a huge role if they can bounce back and get some form. Their players are obviously going to create huge headaches for Adelaide and who they go to them and how they try and curb their influence on the game.
From a Sydney perspective, Sydney cricket ground, small ground, congested, Sydney play it so well. On a bigger ground, they tend to struggle a bit. Is that a concern for them?
Well, I think there's going to be a really contested start to the game. Whether that can be maintained on the bigger ground is still to see.
Players lining up on the broadcast wing. Let's head down to our Master of Ceremonies, Craig Willis.
Final. Would you now please join with the coaches, players and umpires as we stand for the Australian National Anthem.
We are young and free. We've golden
With the official proceedings out of the way, the stage is set for the second qualifying final. Adelaide taking on Sydney. The sun's come out here at Football Park. A little bit of rain earlier in the day, but conditions will be close to perfect and just a little bit short of a capacity crowd here at Football Park. Matt Clinch and Dan Wannigan to call all the action. Rod Jamieson, Craig Bolton and Matthew Primus, your experts on Grandstand AFL.
Wow, great atmosphere, wonderful crowd, the sun's shining, you couldn't want for anything better. We know it's finals footy. Had a real tough stoush last night, Hawthorn and Collingwood at the MCG. Will we get similar niggle early on in this contest today between the Swans and the Crows? Second time they've met in a final. First time, I think you played Jamo, didn't you? 1998 in the West at the SCG. Peter Vardy kicked 5.
Yeah, it was a big day that night. We're just about to round the ground and absolutely teamed down for probably about 20 minutes in that first quarter, and it became quite a bog for the majority of the night. And Peter Vardy missed out in 97 and then had a big 98 and was very much a part of that particular grand final result.
Two captains have just met in the middle of the ground. Anthony Tucker witnessed the toss.
Yeah, Sydney co-captain Jarrett McVeigh, Matt, won the toss and he'll kick to the northern end with the aid of a sou'wester breeze, maybe worth a goal or two, but probably more across the ground and straight down it.
Thank you, Tux. Anthony Tucker down on the boundary. Around the table, guys, tips?
Oh, I'm going for Adelaide. I think at home too. They are in as good a nick as they've been all year, primed and have got their best team out in the park.
Yeah, Adelaide for me, just. It wouldn't surprise me if Sydney got up, but I think Adelaide are just injury-free, form's too good, and playing on the home deck.
Yeah, likewise. I think in a really tight one, I think this one's going to come down to the wire, but you can just see that the way Adelaide have been going, and obviously the omissions of a couple of key players for Sydney is going to make it tough for them. So Adelaide by a goal or less.
Yeah, I think Adelaide, great record against the Swans, and they're just in better form, even though Sydney have had a tougher run in. Adelaide at home, it's a huge home-ground advantage for them.
And Tux?
Matt, I'll go for Adelaide by 12 points, I reckon.
So across the board, we're all with the Crows as players make their way out to their positions. Adelaide's forward line with
Goods
Tippett
on ball.
and Walker. Adam Goods in the middle.
Pike up forward, Sam Reid up forward as well. So they're going to stretch them straight away in terms of height, although they've got the three talls back there. Brent Riley's been outstanding just reading the football as that third man up and intercepting a lot of footy that goes into that defensive area.
He's on McVeigh, Jamo early on.
Footy that goes into that defensive area.
He's on McVeigh, Jamo early on. The umpires today, Dean Farmer, Matt Stevick and Justin Schmidt. We're ready for a start. The second qualifying final at Footy Park on Grandstand. Bounce in the middle, Jacobs and Mumford nullify each other. Straight away, a hand pass came out from right. Goes to the outer side, Van Berlo leading in the race, sockers it away from Goods. And it goes out of bounds, slightly attacking side of the wing for the Swans.
Looks like Goods Van Berlo match up on the wing, so we'll see how long that stays there.
We were talking about that pre-match. Mumford up, beats Jacobs. Pack forming in front of them. Pike's in there as well. And there'll be a ball up straight away.
Marty Mattins just hanging back to be that extra man in the defence for Sydney.
O'Keefe on Scotty Thompson. Bounce on the outer side. No one can get a clean possession once more. Hurried boot to ball came from Mike Pike towards half forward, leading in the race as McVeigh gets wrapped up in a tackle at centre half forward for the Swans at the northern end. There's no score. The umpire takes a long time, as has been their want to bounce it, but now they do.
Well, Matten is dropping off right, who's coming up to look after Goods, and Van Berlo trying to catch him on the way through.
So bounce 50 metres out from the Swans goal. O'Keefe trapped it, kicked inside the attacking 50, and an Adelaide free kick. Brent Riley up against Jared McVeigh. So Riley to take the free kick, goes short to Bernie Vince, who takes the mark and plays on. Inside the defensive 50. The kick to Douglas on the broadcast wing. Great one-handed mark against Johnson. So Douglas waits for the leads to come. Petrenko leads the way. Traps it on the bounce, but has to follow up. Johnson got in the way and intercepted it. Got it to Reece Shaw. Now to Hannibal, tied up against the boundary line. Swings the ball back towards Reid. Punched away by Shaw. Ball at ground level on the broadcast wing. Douglas couldn't trap it. High tackle on right. McGlynn got him flush round the neck. And Matt Wright to take the free kick. Broadcast side of the ground. Wright with the long kick. Tippett will be the target. LRT right there with him. Punched away by the Swans defence. And the ball rolls out of play.
And Lewis Roberts-Thompson with the key match-up on Tippett. Teddy Richards to Taylor Walker, and Nick Smith as expected going to Port Pleasure.
Kieran Jack on Dangerfield too.
Delectable matchups all over the ground here at Footy Park. Boundary throw-in. Two-handing it down Tippett. Roving Jack may have got one high. And he'll take the free kick at half-back.
Roberts Thompson just dropped off his man there and just went to make a 2-on-1 on Tippett and Walker out of the goal square. So that's the tactics the Swans are going to come with all day.
He's got left half back here, and Jack. And he kicks too close for man Mark Dangerfield, who smothers it, looks to keep it alive. Good tackling by Jack. Boundary umpire Vittardi eventually says it was out of bounds, just outside the attacking 50 for the Adelaide Crows, who are attacking to the southern end. No scores yet.
Thrown back in, Jacobs from the back, Mumford in front. Jacobs one down the tap. Talia on half forward. Tackled well by O'Keefe. Ball doesn't come clear. And the umpire will bounce it on right half forward for the Crows. 3 minutes played, tight contested footy as you'd expect. From the bounce, Jacobs in front position, slapped down the ball. Vince is able to trap it for the Crows. Gave it away to Smith. Bouncing ball inside the 50. Petrenko tries to fight his way to the front. Nick Smith put his head down for the Crows. O'Keefe can't get it out, and again, players dive on top of the footy. And we'll have a bounce 40 metres out from the Adelaide goal.
Good tight contest as we thought early on. And Mumford is beaten. It's Shark by Jacobs. Kicks towards full forward. Getting a bad bounce. Roberts Thompson slaps to Richards. Tied in on the boundary. Handballs along the ground towards O'Keefe. Walker's in his back, I thought. Or is he tackling him? No, it'll be a free kick to go the way of the Sydney Swans. The Adelaide Crows supporters baying for blood, but O'Keefe in the left back pocket will take it at the southern end for the Swans.
Done really well here the last two times. Adelaide have really tried to shut them down. It looks like they're going to be out here, but trying to force them to kick long down the line.
Chips across the goal face to Matner. Farms a hand pass to Smith. Back in the side today. Kicks to the wing. Roberts Thompson's got some space. Gathers around the outer side. Kicks his team to half forward. Getting out in front. Norton had it destroyed from behind by Shaw, who picks it up and gets the hand pass out. Now the Crows a chance through McKay. Grubbers along the depth. Intercepted by Mumford, but his kick is smothered. Kept alive by John Cocker, squeezes a kick towards the wing, and then Nick Smith jumps it over the boundary but gets one in the back. So Sydney's free kick, still no score. We played 5 minutes opening term on grandstand.
Two great smothers by Adelaide, one Dangerfield and the other one John Cock.
Matt Wright fell in the back of Nick Smith, who kicks to half forward. Strong mark Bacon by Kennedy. Wants to give away the hand pass to Hanbury inside the attacking 50. Mike Pike leads the way, but Sloane snatches it off him. The kick smothered by Pike. Jude Bolton fights for the loose ball but turns it over. Shaw, hand pass to Thompson, well tackled. Hand pass comes out to Kieran Jack. Kicks towards goal, but the mark taken by McKay. And Adelaide will rebound, although Smith's not out of trouble. Hand pass to Dowdy, well tackled by Jack. Sydney have the numbers. McGlynn with the snap on goal, and he misses to the right-hand side.
Tippett and Jacobs have already swapped in the ruck, so as you said, Gemma, they do swap that pretty early.
Sydney one behind, Adelaide yet to score through 6 minutes in the opening term on grandstand AFL.
Excellent forward pressure by the Swans then. Sold the Crows into a lot of trouble.
4 players to choose from, Craig, up forward, and they couldn't put one away.
Terrific pressure though. Both sides have a real emphasis on that forward pressure.
Kicks to himself, Smith, and kicks towards the halfback flank on the broadcast side. Mumford the punch from behind, down to Tippett. Hurried boot the ball while being tackled. Jacobs bounces away from him. Then he beats Roberts Thompson. Fends off a tackle. Handballs wide to Vince. Handballs now to Scotty Thompson. Cruising close to the boundary on the broadcast side. Wants someone to come at him. Then he kicks awkwardly towards half forward. Good opportunity for John Cock. Alex Johnson knocks away. Allows Richards to collect. Gets the hand pass off to Smith. The left footer pops it up the centre half back, and Goods marks for the Swans.
Adam Goods looks to swing the ball to the outer side. Has Hanbury, who marks inside the defensive 50. Only one-on-ones ahead of him. He waits for the long lead to come from Bird. It never quite made it to him, and Douglas was able to take the intercepting mark. Left half forward for Adelaide. Kicks inside the attacking 50. Walker had a metre on his opponent and took the mark. He'll kick from right on the 50 on a 45-degree angle.
And there's the modern game. Teams trying to rebound the ball. Clubs very good at shutting down the options. You've got to kick to a contest. Teams win that turnover ball off that contest, and then really difficult to try and defend that. And Adelaide did that terrifically well.
He's a thumping kick, but in terms of where the breeze is coming from, he's kicking right into the teeth of it.
He's had a breakout year, Taylor Walker, from Broken Hill. How are the nerves of the youngster? Walker loads up from outside 50, gives it everything he's got, and it's offline to the left-hand side. And a minor score. The crowd was excited. It's one behind apiece through 7.5 minutes.
Excited for a long time. The goal umpire already said it was a behind. Malcheski's in short to O'Keefe. Back to Malcheski with the beard like Reece Shaw, but he's a left footer. He kicks towards the wing, and Rutten marks just shy of it in front of Mike Pike. Veteran Ben Rutten pokes a pass to half forward. Not a good kick, all Sydney. O'Keefe floats across and marks right on defensive 50 at left half back. He clears defensive 50 to Hanbury. Handballs to Shaw behind him. Good enough to get it. Now to McVeigh. Kicks to Goods, who's on the burst. Little sit for Adam Goods. He loves this. Has a bounce, the Brownlow medalist. 40 out, open goal. Goods kicks a ripper. Wonderful play by the Swans through the corridor. First goal of the match. It's taken 8 minutes on grandstand there. 1-1-7. The Crows are behind.
That's like I spoke about before, the modern game. Sydney willing to take a risk to try and kick that angle kick back through the middle of the ground. You don't want to do it when it's not on, but that kick was on. Straight away it opens you up, and then the Adams Goods and the Jetters and those guys just picked that run. And I think Taylor Walker ended up having to chase Goodsy all the way down there. That kind of kick just opens you up compared to the first one when they smothered it. Sydney were just happy to kick long down the line. There's the difference in the game. Got to understand when to take that chance and when not to.
They'll be rapid to start, Sydney. They've applied the pressure. They've nullified Adelaide, and now they've got the first score of the game in terms of kicking a goal. So great start for them. That'll do the world of good for their confidence.
Matthew Primus, Craig Bolton and Rod Jamieson, your experts on Grandstand AFL. Tippett up against Mumford. Mumford one down the tap. The ball comes clear, just wide of the centre circle. Thompson and Sloan trying to break it out. Eventually it comes to Wright, who kicks a pass forward. Callanan just couldn't trap it. Petrenko sockers it to Vince. Has a bit of space. Kicks inside the attacking 50. Walker in a wrestle with Roberts-Thompson. Walker will lead the way, tied up against the boundary line. Roberts-Thompson cut in front. Trapped the loose ball. Kicked it as far as he could to the outer wing. Dowdy taps the ball. Got it to Smith, now back to Dowdy. Half forward, kick back into the corridor. And Daniel Talia takes the mark. The rising star winner of 2012 gives away the hand pass to Riley off a step. Deep inside the attacking 50. Punched away by the Sydney defenders. Kennedy able to trap it. The 1-2 from McVeigh. Kennedy off the outside of the boot. It's a good pass. And McGlynn takes the mark on half back.
Looked a bit lucky. He was unsure then, Kennedy. McGlynn chips dreadfully. Had a few options but didn't get there. Marking in front, Vince. Handballs to Sloan. Kicks to half for John Cocker. Can't mark at ground level. Good roving by Wright. Handballs defensively to Riley. Pops to Walker. Big Tex can't hang on to it. Offhand Smith will rove under pressure from Walker. Handballs to Roberts. Thompson mown down. Had it intercepted close to the boundary by Callanan. Beats one. Beats two. On the left. Hooks it. Kick to full forward. It's slapped away by Matner. And he finds the boundary. It'll be thrown back into play beside the behind post at the southern end. One behind the Crows, the Swans 1-1-7.
Inside 56 in favour of Adelaide to 3 Sydney. Just wasteful going forward, Adelaide.
Thrown in deep in attack for the Crows. Walker does the rucking, got it down to Porplesia. No clean possession. Ducking his way out of trouble was Malcheski, who did really well. Up and under kick. Riley got to the front and took the mark. Swings onto the right boot. Inside the attacking 50. Walker flew from the back. Able to clump the mark over the head of Mumford, which is no easy feat.
That's twice now, I reckon they've gone to Pike long down the line, and Rutten's just been able to body him out and get the mark and then just pump it back in there and get those repeating side 50s. And even though you said, Jono, they've been in double their time now, eventually that's going to start to take its toll and they'll start to hit the scoreboard.
They're going to have to be really careful with their work inside 50 though, Adelaide. Sydney just dropping numbers back off like 2s and 3s. They just want to really crowd it up in there. They can't just continually bomb long or they're not going to be able to get the reward. We're seeing a shot on goal finally, but it has taken a persistent effort and, a lot of pummeling the ball inside the 50 to get to this stage.
A 45-degree angle from Taylor Walker. He's only about 40 metres out. Second shot on goal. Walker's kick is straight through the middle. Adelaide have their first goal of the match. Scores level 1-1-7 apiece through 12 minutes in the opening term on Grandstand AFL.
Well, the amount of footy both sides have had, 43-38 disposal in favour of Adelaide, 7-3 now inside 50s, and gets at the thing, you can get it in there, they're going to be able to defend accordingly, but still you've got to get in there and score, and you just can't. You've got to get it in there and get it deep so you can actually get the result that you're after for all the hard work you've done to put it inside 50.
Good contest. 54th goal of the year to Big Tex. Taylor Walker. His mum was coming to the game, but his sister's playing football in Broken Hill today, so his dad's staying home. No doubt listening to Grandstand. Picked up by O'Keefe. Hooks it on the right inside 50. Goods takes the mark. Good clearance win by the Swans.
Yeah, if we watched last night's game, I think probably until the last quarter of the game really swung in the balance, and Collingwood were able to get some centre square breaks, then Hawthorn did, and they're just so important to give you a chance to get it deep inside 50 or get you to forwards one on one out, be their defenders, and that was a great clearance by the Swans.
Here's Adam Goods, the dual Brownlow medalist, on the 50, leans back, kicks long, he's got two in the opening quarter, which is only 13 minutes old. 2-1-13 the Swans, the Crows are 1-1-7.
Well, a huge start to Adam Goods, 2 goals in the first 10 minutes, and Matty, you picked it up. These centre square breakaways we're going to see so often today, teams flooding back, their midfielders trying to support their defenders. If you can get that quick clearance and get it out of there, give your forwards first use, going to give you the best opportunity to score. And we saw that one-on-one position there. Adam Goods just in front, easy chest mark, 40 metres out. His confidence will be sky high at the moment, and I can't tell you how important that'll be. He's coming off a month which has been down by his standards. He's going to be a really dangerous one to watch now for the Crows.
Rutten's come to the bench. Talia's gone to Goods, and you've got Shaw that's gone to Reed. So if Sydney were to drop another tall back there, it will start to stretch Adelaide.
The Swans by 6 points, back in the middle. Pike can't get a clean tap away. Dangerfield has it, gave it away though, taken by Kennedy. Jetta with a hand pass to Pike. Got the kick away inside the attacking 50. In fact, it bounces just wide of there. Reed leads the way, punched away by Shaw. Dowdy traps it for the Crows. Gives it away to Thompson, tied up against the boundary line. Hand pass was never on for Shaw. Reed got in the middle. Hand pass coming from Kennedy, didn't sit for McGlynn. Reed's followed up, tied up against the boundary line. Inside the 50. Wobbly kick inside. Riley couldn't take it. Goods comes out. Adam Goods trying to create space, can't do so. Riley tied up against the boundary line. Hand pass away to Smith, who off a step gets Adelaide out of trouble. Dangerfield has time. Dropped the mark but able to reclaim it. Has a bounce on the outer wing. Now make that two. Dangerfield puts his foot down. Wobbles a kick to half forward. Reach Shaw able to intercept. Hanbury with the hand pass to O'Keefe, and all of a sudden Sydney are out.
They are out. Jetta's got it around the outer side. Has a bounce. Right half forward. Bangs long to full forward. Riley getting back. Reads it best. A bit of a kick in hope. Hopeless kick really in the end with Riley marking. Delivers in short to Doughty. Between fullback and centre half back. Handballs of the bootlaces of Smith. Vacuums it up. Gives it to Doughty. Kicks off the edge of the boot. Just finds Sloane marking millimetres in front of Matner inside defensive 50 at the northern end. He's in short now, Rory Sloane. Van Berlo dropped it, he should have taken. Hanbury might pick it up. Can't take it. Supported by Bird. Good hand pass, Goods. Handballs back to Bird. Handball to Jetta. Blazes away to an open goal from 50. And just misses to the right-hand side behind.
A few uncharacteristic mistakes from the Adelaide players. We've seen an errant handball from Thompson, an uncharacteristic, really poor kick from Dangerfield, and just coming the ball out of their back half. They just do not look composed for the last 5 or 6 minutes.
Sydney 2-2-14, Adelaide 1-1-7.
Riley went short with the kick in to Wright, who gave it back to Riley. And now Dangerfield still inside the defensive 50. Can chip the ball over the top to McKay. Can play on. Does so. Looks for the short option. Bamburlo leads. And at full stretch is able to take the mark in front of Hanbury. Continues with the short pass. Too slick for Douglas. Roberts Thompson well tackled by Callanan. And it's a throw. Adelaide free kick. And there's a bit off the ball between Bird. In fact, it's Kennedy and Douglas. Umpire calls play on. He's not interested in that. Callanan kicks forward. Tip it in a battle with Johnston. The ball goes out of play. We'll have a throw in 55 metres out from the Adelaide goal. Anthony Tucker down on the boundary.
Well, wind's definitely favouring the end of the Swans. The kicking. You notice that kick from Jetta just before off one step easily carried the 50, and Adam Goods' second goal went well into the crowd from 50 out.
Thrown back in, Jetta on cue, but it was a throw, and it will be an Adelaide free kick going to Nathan Van Berlo. Left half forward for the Crows.
Too slow here. Adelaide got to get it in a lot quicker. Kennedy's back now, as is Johnson.
So too loose for Sydney. The long kick by Van Berlo looking for Tippett. Walker in a contest. Johnston punches it away. Taken by Jack. High up and under kick. Bouncing ball towards the boundary. Dangerfield wants deliberate, but the umpire says throw it in. 50 metres out from Adelaide's goal. Sydney by 7 points. 2-2-14 to Adelaide 1-1-7.
Back into play. Crows into attack just outside. Attacking 50. Collected by Kennedy. Tries to get a hand pass out to Bird. Bird is crunched and goes to ground. A big pack, 35 out from the Swans' defensive goal at the southern end. Started well, but as Anthony said, they've got the breeze. Their lead 7 points halfway in the term. Tippett beats Pike. Bit of a wrestle there for Johnson. Tackled by Callanan. And the Crows supporters wanting holding the ball. Didn't really have much of an opportunity to get a decent purchase on that. Pike beats Tippett, who falls over. Reece Shaw lays a tackle for the Swans. A lot of players around this.
Throw.
And there's a free kick going Adelaide's way. Throw, boys.
Jetta twice, isn't it? The last couple of minutes.
Try to get it out, Jetta, and it looks like Petrenko will be the recipient.
Oh, that was a throw.
It's almost a netball or volleyball pass.
It was.
Jabotrenko's been great, really strong, and Fryer, 138 kilos he pumped out this week too. For such a little man. Very, very strong and defensively great. Opportunity for Adelaide to get their second on the board.
Slightly left of centre half forward. Wobbly kick off the boot, and he misses to the right hand side of behind into the breeze. Adelaide at 1-2-8. The Swans are 2-2-14 in the qualifying final on Grandstand AFL.
Sydney by a straight kick. Reece Shaw to kick back in. It's taking a while to sum up the options. Decides to play onto himself. Kick the ball to the broadcast side. Petrenko will fly. Paul Pleasure was in there as well. Pike brought it down at ground level. Now has to get rid of it. Well done to McVeigh. Sweeping hand pass over the top. Just doesn't sit for McGlynn. Can't trap it. Douglas tackled him. Ball comes loose. And now across the boundary line. And we'll have a throw in right in front of the Adelaide interchange bench.
We're going to see this pattern of play continually unfold. Sydney bringing all their numbers back and then trying to get this really slingshot approach and run down the ground quickly.
Thrown back in, Pike, Mumford one down the tap, got it to Bolton. Trying to fight his way through was Hanbury, and he'll win a free kick for in the back against Van Berlo.
It's such a big game though to try and play and sustain for long periods of time, isn't it? Because you've got to work so far back to work so far forward.
So Daniel Hanbury on the members' side, kicks looking for Jetta, bounce just eluded him. Dowdy leads the race tight up against the boundary line, hand pass to Thompson. And now across the line. And we'll have a throw in on half forward for Sydney. They lead by 6 points.
229th game for Michael Dowdy, retiring at the end of the year. Yet another product from the rookie list for the Adelaide Crows. Boundary throw in, Pike and Jacobs. Which way? Free kick going Adelaide's way. And kicked out off the play. Yep.
The umpire that was up Sydney end has called it.
Matthew Wright, just outside defensive 50 at the northern end. Sydney by a goal. Wright, no options up the ground. Has to go backwards to Brent Riley. He delivers to centre half back. Mark taken by Doughty. Thought about a hand pass. Now he spreads it wide to the outer side. Big truck. Ben Rutten takes the mark at half back. Adelaide building, but very slow build here.
It's to credit of Sydney too, Dan. This is where Adelaide have been good in the past. Their transition has been solid, but Sydney have really negated that.
Good kick to the wing, clears a couple of players, Sloan and Jude Bolton, and Sloan then lays a tackle on Alex Johnson, who sees it over the line on the outer wing, just like the attacking side for the Crows, who are 1-2-8, Sydney 2-2-14, 21 gone opening turn.
Throw in on half forward, Mumford one down the tap, Douglas can't get it clear, could have been taken high, umpire says no, and we'll have the bounce. Plenty of players surrounding the contest. Umpire to bounce it. Mumford and Jacobs wrestling before the ball was bounced. Mumford out positioned by Jacobs on this occasion. Tap down to Paul Pleasure. He's well tackled. Ball not coming out, and the umpire will be forced to bounce.
Adelaide have got to work out a way to get better value out of these stoppages. Sydney are always dropping one back, so Adelaide should have the spare at the stoppage. They've got to work out a way to utilise that man.
Mumford beaten by Jacobs on that occasion, got it down to Vince, bouncing ball to half forward. Callanan overran it, Tippett well tackled by Roberts Thompson. Tippett tries to knock it out. Plenty of swans surrounding the contest. O'Keefe gave it to Johnson, giving up ground. Now hand pass away by Kennedy. Dangerfield traps it for Adelaide, gave it to Van Berlo. Kick by Smith inside the attacking 50. Johncock brought the ball down at ground level. Hanbury's hand pass too slick for Johnson. Walker traps it. Hand pass to Tippett. Ball not coming clear. Sydney fighting for it. Can't get it clear. Kennedy now breaks his way out. Hand pass to Hanbury. Taken by Richards. Almost taken high. In fact, it was O'Keefe. And he was.
Geez, Kennedy's first 25 minutes has just been extraordinary. Up to 10 touches. Really tough and close. And that last bit of play there was terrific. Compared to Adelaide's Thompson and Dangerfield, I think they're on about 3 touches each. So Sydney's midfield really on top at the moment.
The Bunsen burner was on in that exchange. Kick came to the wing. Reid couldn't quite hang on to the clunk. Then he lays a good tackle, working hard at ground level, scrapping hard. Attacking side of the wing. The umpire says, give it to me, boys, I'll bounce it. It was hot in there. Centre half forward for the Crows. Sydney held firm though. They're not scoring with the breeze. Their lead just a goal. Arriving Tippett. Taps it down. Bursting through Dangerfield. Tackled. Socked by Van Berlo. Here's Walker. Handballs on the inside to Douglas. Got to get away. Does. Good kick to Johncock. Had an opponent in third bearing down. Has a player running for him at centre half forward. The kick's a good one and the mark is taken by McKay.
They go with Patrick Dangerfield. He had to drag 3 players. He's just a brute. He's an absolute brute in winning the footy.
Good running forward by David McKay. One of the unsung heroes in this Adelaide side.
Contested footy 31, Sydney 33. So up by 2.
Be a good result for the Crows if they could be level close to quarter time into the breeze at the southern end. McKay, 48 out. Floating kick. He's missed to the left-hand side or behind. 1-3-9 the Crows. Sydney 2-2-14.
So a couple of set shot misses by the Crows. Reece Shaw to kick back in. Goes very short to Ted Richards.
They've struggled to get it within 70 metres of Adelaide's goal, the last 2 kicking, so it'll be interesting to see where this one ends up.
Richards with a long kick from the back pocket, looking for goods, punched away by Dowdy. Wright runs out of ground, tied up against the boundary line. And we'll have a throw in 55 metres out from the Crows' goal. Sydney by 5 points. Thrown back in. Mumford and Tippett. Tippett wins down the tap on that occasion. Can't quite get it to Dangerfield. Is well tackled by Bolton. Players appealing for a free kick, but the umpire will be forced to bounce again.
Congested, isn't he?
Certainly a lot of numbers up. Adelaide are trying to pull 4 or 5 forwards back, but certainly, as we said before, certainly sending a lot of numbers up.
Tap down by Pike. Or Mumford, I should say, two-hander, and the Sydney player was going for the footy, caught one. Jude Bolton in game 299 will receive it right half back inside defensive 50. Slightly indecisive. Has to kick down the line off the side of the boot. Adelaide 2-on-1 against Reid. See it over the line. Anthony Tucker on the boundary.
Matthew Primus mentioned Joey Kennedy. He's just come off for a spell. Dan Hanbury was off for about a minute. Was really sucking him. Had to go back on as Kennedy came off. 9 disposals, 6 contested already.
He is a gun, Josh Kennedy. What a player he's become. Good play from the stoppage. Jack to handball to McVeigh and now to O'Keefe off a step on the outer side. High kick to half forward. Arriving late Morton made a nice spool. Trying to allow McGlynn to rove, but the boundary line was too close. It's out of bounds. Right half forward. Sydney into attack. Not going forward enough with the breeze to the northern end. They lead by 5 points close to quarter time.
Going back in. Mumford from behind. One down the tap, but taken by Vince. Gets a kick out and Callanan in front of Malcheski is able to take the mark. Centre wing on the outer side. Callanan has Smith short. That's the direction he goes. Brodie Smith will swing the ball to half back. Rutten has it. They have a loose man on the broadcast side. It's Shaw. He'll take the ball and look to run it. Shaw plays on. Thought about the hand pass to Riley. Now cuts back inboard. Kick to full stretch. Michael Dowdy. Half forward. Looking for Petrenko. No good on that occasion. Matner was able to take the intercepting mark. and comfortably took that one, slipped away the hand pass, taken by Smith, trapped by Bird, goes backwards to Matner, and they'll swing this right back to the last line to Roberts-Thompson.
12 inside 50s to Adelaide, 7 to Sydney, but another wasteful one too, wasn't. Shaw had Rory Sloane, and he didn't see him.
Roberts-Thompson kicks to Smith, it clears him out close to the boundary, and intercepted by Dowdy, having a bit of the footy in this quarter.
The runners out to the Sydney players, just imploring them all to get up the ground, so there mustn't be too long left in the quarter.
On the broadcast side of the ground, pops a kick close to the goal square, but Sydney with numbers.
There's a few there, Craig.
Well, 3 or 4 on one. Good luck, Taylor Walker, in that situation. They've got to do something better in terms of their ball movement into their forward 50, because at the moment they're getting far outnumbered when the ball comes in by air.
Boundary throw in, close to the goal line. McVeigh retrieves from the boundary throw in, handballs to Richards, heads to the outer side to Goods. It'll run away from him, and it goes out of bounds. But Goods applauds the kick and says, "That's a pretty good kick. I'm happy with that." Let's reload again. 60 out from Sydney's defensive goal at the southern end.
Brenton Sanderson makes his way to the bench for the Adelaide Crows. Jacobs nudges Mumford out of the way, wins down the tap. Thompson can't get clear, well tackled. And we'll have a bounce right on the paint of 50 heading Adelaide's way. Sydney by 5 points, 2-2-14, Adelaide 1-3-9. 28 minutes played in the opening term. From the bounce, Sloane goes third man up. Goods punches it away the opposite direction. Thompson's well tackled, turned it over, gave it to Jetta. Now to Goods on half back. Has a bounce and cuts his way through traffic. Hand pass over the top to Reid. Looks further afield, and there is the siren for quarter time. As we expected, a pretty hot opening quarter, and there's a bit of a scuffle on in the middle of the ground. A couple of players, Douglas and Pleasure involved. Nothing too much, and they break in different directions. Quarter time here at Football Park. Sydney lead by 5 points. 2-2-14 to Adelaide 1-3-9. Adam Goods has the 2 goals for the Sydney Swans. Taylor Walker with the 1 for the Crows. This is Grandstand AFL on ABC local radio and digital radio.
And for the Crows, Doughty 9, Smith 8, Riley 8, and they need more from their stars. So the second quarter to get underway. Sydney leading Adelaide by 5 points.
Adam Goods starting on the broadcast wing for the Swans. From the bounce, Jacobs flies early, wins down the tap, got it to Thompson. A clearance for the Adelaide Crows. High up and under ball. Callanan fights for the loose ball. Comes down at ground level. Thompson's followed up and managed to trap the loose ball. Just got the kick away on the right boot before being bumped by Goods. Kick favoured Johnson. He was able to take the mark.
Geez, he's an improved player this year, isn't he?
Johnson with a strong mark over Graham Johncock. He'll swing the ball inside the defensive 50. Spotted Dan Hanbury inside the defensive 50 from left half back. Bouncing kick to McGlynn. Centre wing on the outer side. Short pass looking for Jude Bolton wide of him. And Brent Riley was able to slide in and take the mark.
Ninth possession for Riley. Johnson, one of 8 Sydney players to play every game playing today. Adelaide have 6, Riley being one of those. Right half back, kicks to the wing. Sloane gets up, tried to take a specky. From by McGlynn, handballs inside to O'Keefe for the Swans, avoids the tackle. Hanbury giving him run, receives, kicks towards half forward. Jude Bolton stretching up marks, looks to play on, he got blindsided, he'll be penalised, no! Shoving the back, he's dreadfully lucky. He didn't see Douglas coming inside him and he got shoved in the back. He kicks towards half forward, but again,
that was a poor kick then.
Poor kick it was, and a good mark taken by Riley.
So Goods v Thompson then, 1 out, a mismatch, and he wasn't able to quite see it and kicked to the wrong target.
Riley thought about swinging the ball to the broadcast side, instead went short to Rutten, who spotted Sam Jacobs, who marks on right half back.
Sydney just doing this so well again. Adelaide just a couple of times looking to launch and go, but just have to go down the line and hope for their teammate to take a mark as it gets pushed out of bounds.
Tippett flew over the back of Roberts-Thompson and punched the ball out of play. Adelaide just lacking that run, which has become a trademark off half back. Thrown back in. Mumford able to get rid of Jacobs. Got the ball to Kennedy. Well tackled. O'Keefe somehow got a kick out of it. High ball to half forward. Well done by Rutten in the wrestle with Morton. Ball comes out. Good tackle by Morton, who followed up and laid it on Douglas. Shaw with a hand pass away to Vince. The 1-2 by the Crows. Shaw needs support. Jetta Goods it was who put the turnover on. As a result, taken by Kennedy, sweeping hand pass by McVeigh. Here comes the goal. McGlynn's going to run to the goal square and kick truly.
Great reward there for the Swans. They've probably butchered 3 other inside 50s they should have had with some poor kicking and some poor disposal, but they've really brought some good pressure in there. I'm not quite sure with the Pike-Rutten matchup if they can do something a little bit different there to try and drag Pike back to Rutten back to the goal square or try and get him up even higher, but every time they've sort of gone to Pike, I think Rutten's had the better of that one, but a terrific start by Sydney and terrific pressure at the Adelaide Crows.
Craig, anyone else other than Josh Kennedy would have been pinned for holding the ball in. The fact he got his body free was amazing.
He's a hard man to tackle and get a hold of in the first place, but then you just see him push through that. He's got brute strength and gets off an effective handball and just starts that chain, doesn't it? He's so dangerous in and around those contested situations.
How good does Adam Goods look at the moment? He looks fresh, doesn't he? He's up and about.
Tapped down by Mumford. O'Keefe tried to get it clear, but Adelaide win it. Dangerfield tackled. Gets a hurried boot to ball. John Cock couldn't control it. Johnson doing a good job on him. Got a hand pass out. Mattner's there as they ride bumps at half back. The Swans. Richards' kick along the car, but wasn't very good. Dangerfield's there again. Tried to fend off a tackle. He got one high. Take the free kick at right half forward. Kicking with the breeze in the sunshine of the northern end, in short and on the lead. Vince Marks, still at right half forward.
This is well within his range, Dan. It is a big thumping kick.
Lead 11 points for the Swans. 2009 best and fairest winner. He's kicked 17 goals this year, Bernie Vince. And they need one. Long kick, beautiful kick, but just missing to the right-hand side. You're right. Right, he got the distance and then some. 1-4-10 the Crows. Sydney 3-2-20 on Grandstand AFL.
Got to take your chances in these games, don't you? 1 goal, 4, all gettable shots as well.
So Malcheski to kick back in for the Swans. Spotted Adam Goods, and it was a wobbly pass, but it got to him on half back. The kick looking for Hanbury, who did really well to trap it. Gave it away to Jetta, and Jetta's away. He's had a bounce and he's looking to stream forward. Make that 2 bounces. Dangerfield offering the chase. Jetta's kick long just offline, and it will bounce across the goal face and for a throw in near the left behind post.
Terrific chase by Dangerfield then, just to let Jetta just know he's right up his hammer and just pull the kick at the very end.
We've seen Jetta pull off some miraculous goals throughout the season. Mumford wins down the tap, got it to O'Keefe. Quickly tackled by Thompson, tied up against the boundary line, and Smith takes it across.
And this is where you really try and lock teams in the modern game now. I reckon Sydney will probably drop off a couple of Adelaide guys that go in, and if Adelaide quick kick it out or go straight back to Sydney, and you get quite often here you get a few repeating side 50s.
It's tapped down to Sloane, clears Adelaide, but only as far as Richards on the outer side. He's still at half forward. They head towards the southern end, nothing on offer in front of him, has to go defensively to Nick Smith. Marking on the wing, conceded about 25 metres, then Richards with that kick. He'll deliver into the middle. Johnson is all on his own, the most defensive player on the field. Defensive edge of the centre square. Pops a kick into the circles. Leading for him, McGlynn. Another half-distance pass, using the footy well with patience, the Swans. McVeigh, great kick, and on the lead, Reid. Gee, how well did they set that particular movement up, Sydney? And in the end, Reid marks on his chest. Big opportunity to give his team a very handy break in this second term. He's at left half forward to the southern end.
And that ball movement into the forward 50, stark contrasting compared to Adelaide Crows up the other end. Well moved around. Everyone knew where each one was going.
45 out. Reid's kick is wobbly off the boot, but straight, and that makes sense. And Sydney have their fourth. 4-2-26. Adelaide 1-4-10. 7 played second quarter at Football Park.
Well, very much in favour of Sydney at the moment too, the way that they are controlling the game when they do have the football, and even when they don't, the pressure that's being applied to Adelaide, they're not hitting the target, they're getting the footy too far out to be able to make a real impact on the scoreboard, and when they have gone inside, they've been wasteful with 4 behinds at the moment too, and one of the matchup where Gooch has been so very good is not only be in the middle or out on the wing. Van Berlo has had to drop down into the forward 50. So if they're not hitting Reid or they're not hitting a target with the smaller one, they've still got that option to go to Goods, who really is mismatched by Nathan Van Berlo.
Sydney with the first 2 goals of the second quarter, their lead out to 16 points. Mumford wins down the tap, taken by Paul Pleasure. Kick inside the 50 didn't suit Walker. He'd offer the lead and Richards was able to take a comfortable mark. Ted Richards deep in defence. Looks to kick to the outer wing. Rutten in a wrestle with Pike. Pike brought the ball down at ground level. Sloan able to trap it. Gave it to Douglas. Hand pass just missed Thompson. Well tackled and Thompson's brought down. Sydney players appealing for a free kick and the umpire's going to pay it. 3 Sydney players surrounding Scott Thompson and Ryan O'Keefe will take the free kick.
What about the tackles? 28 to Sydney, 17 to Adelaide.
Left half back for O'Keefe. Looks for the long ball. Pike the target. Rutten one-on-one with him. Rutten able to win the loose ball. Keep it in play. Smith lost it. Paul Pleasure tries to knock it back to Rutten. Turned it over. Taken by Bird. Kick to half forward. Coming out to meet it is Morton. Well pressured by Shaw. Hand pass to Hanbury. Now to Mumford. Tried to palm it down to Drew Bolton. Didn't come off. Shaw leads the way. Just trying to knock it through the middle of the ground. No loose ball. Good tackle by Wright. Got Bolton well. Ball comes out to Callanan. Taken by Douglas. From the middle of the ground, the Crows go inside the 50. Walker led to the ball by Richards. Reece Shaw well tackled by Petrenko. O'Keefe, the steadying hand, got it to Richards. And Sydney almost out of defence, though the hand pass to Shaw was a bit wide. Johnson tied up against the boundary line. Just kicked it away. Scott Thompson able to trap it.
And he does well, Scott Thompson. Kicks inside 50. Ball drops a bit short. No mark taken by John Cox. Sydney with numbers. Shaw, defensive gift to Bolton by hands to Richards, is doing a great job back to Shaw. Melcheski involved as well. Marking in the back pocket. Inside defensive 50 at the northern end. Sydney by 16 points. It's wonderful defence doing well. Cheddar makes a nice lead. Takes the mark. Handball back to Reece Shaw. Pumps a hand pass to Smith at half back. Handball to Shaw again. Feeds a long hand pass to Jude Bolton's on the way out around the outer side. He has a bounce, the veteran. Kicks towards the wing, a contest between Hanbury and Van Berlo. Van Berlo got a bad bounce, favours Hanbury. Mown down by the skipper, and it goes over the boundary and out of bounds. Anthony Tucker.
Look, it's manic down here at ground level. That chase between Jeddah and Dangerfield exhilarating from 10 metres away. Adam Goods with the 2 goals in the first quarter. Moved to number 7 all time for the Swans with 386 goals. Just behind a few pretty good ones. Pratt, also a Lachlan Lockett, those kind of guys.
Goods gets the clearance for Sydney. Kicks inside the attacking 50. And Morton had a metre on his opponent and took the mark directly in front. 45 metres out.
Goods, he wanted that one.
He did.
He was up and away. I just love the Sydney backs. They just read the ball so well. First of all, their first thought is to have an arm across, put some pressure on you, but when they read the ball so well, and they're winning all their one-on-one contests down there.
Mitch Morton, the late inclusion in just his 3rd game of the season. It's in a final and he's kicking truly. Good goal by Morton. Sydney open up a handy lead, 22 points.
Well, they're taking their opportunities, Sydney, when they get them. Tough kicking up that end, obviously, with the breezy. Really tough conditions, but they've kicked truly twice this quarter already. And they are making the most of their opportunities inside 50. Adelaide, on the other hand, they're going forward, and it's just scrappy. It's a combination, Matty, probably of great defence on Sydney's behalf. They're really reading the ball, but also their ball movement. It's not to the advantage of their forward line play. You see that situation. Adam Goods breaks out of the stoppage. Terrific kick just to the advantage of Mitch Morton, and he takes an easy chest mark. We haven't seen any of that up the other end of the field for Adelaide today.
It's the first time I've really seen them rattled. I think, when they played Hawthorn, they were really unsure as to where to go, and they are fumbling. They're not using the football well, and they're not playing in the manner in which they liked, and Sydney are really restricting that, but hurting them the other way too.
Sydney by 22 points. Loose ball in the middle, maybe an Adelaide free kick. They tried to get the clearance out originally, and on the 3rd attempt, Van Berlo Vince got shoved in the back, and he'll take the free kick in the middle. Kick inside 50, player on his own, Walker, coming across late, Thompson, rolls to the back, John Cock, hard on the boundary, tries to squeeze a kick towards the goals, but it goes out of bounds, and it'll be a boundary throw in deep into Adelaide's attacking zone at the northern end. See, they need a goal here. 12 gone in the term, 5-2-32 Sydney, the Crows 1-4-10. Back into play. Pike, Walker, kick was smothered. Swans with numbers, dragging down the Adelaide Crows opponents. 20 metres out from their attacking goal. Sydney players on the bottom of the pack. Adelaide players saying, what about a free kick? The supporters, of course, getting behind them. but one not given. There'll be a bounce.
Certainly putting a lot of numbers in here. Sydney, they've only got one player outside of Adelaide's forward 50 here, so it could come back with interest if they win it.
Walker doing the ruck work, got the tap down to Petrenko, but no room to move. And a good tackle by Reece Shaw. Dangerous position for the Crows, 15 metres out. Pike wins down the tap, straight to Vince, trying to break his way clear. Kicks it over the top of the head, it's not going to get the distance. And the mark taken by Roberts Thompson. Not sure if that was the required distance. He happily walked it through for a minor score. Sydney 5-2-32, Adelaide 1-5-11. The margin 21 points.
Malcheski in short to half back. Big Pike takes the mark. Handballs to a stationary McVeigh. A left-handed hand pass is a good one to Matner around the outer side. His pass finds Kennedy. Racks up getting the footy, averaging 28 possessions a game before today. Has to play on and kick high. He got himself off balance. That's a horrible kick, Josh. Towards the wing. Someone try and mark that. They do. Standing underneath it, Riley, who's been terrific for the Crows so far. Handballs defensively to Smith. Kicks them to half forward on the outer side. Malcheski, good contest with Paul Pleasure. Puts a nice disciplined spoil over the boundary. 55 around from the Crows' goal, who are 1-5-11. They can't buy a goal at the moment. Sydney 5-2-32.
They just can't kick to advantage at the moment, Adelaide. It's going up to a contest where their own players are sitting under the football, making it easy for the defence of Sydney.
Kennedy tried to break through, and it's going to be a free kick for too high, going the way of the Crows. And Bernie Vince to take the free kick. Patrick Dangerfield a little bit slow to rise. In fact, it's his free kick.
And this is a situation where they cannot get value. Their forwards aren't working together. There's no space upfield, and we've seen this all too often where they'll just bomb it in long and not get the result desired.
So Dangerfield 55 metres out, directing traffic to come at him. The kick is a poor one. It was touched off the boot. McVeigh gave away the hand pass to Kennedy. Roberts Thompson off the outside of the boot. Riley with a punch down away over the top of Bird. And we'll have a throw in just wide of half forward for the Crows.
14 for Kennedy, 16 for Hanbury, Matt.
Yeah, Hanbury's just been terrific. I think he's going head-to-head v Vince, it looks like, through the middle there, and probably a bit of Thompson and Dangerfield. But if this keeps going, he's up for a big game.
Thompson on cue, trying to win the ball from the stoppage. Kennedy is likewise trying to break out. Ball comes to Jude Bolton. He can't pick it up. McGlynn fighting one-on-one with Dowdy. Sloan should be able to get it for the Crows. Only a split second. Quick hand pass away to Thompson. Off a step inside the 50. Paul Pleasure flew high, couldn't come down with it. Douglas trying to trap it on half forward. Tapping it to his advantage, couldn't pick it up. Play on's the call from the umpire. Taken by Vince. Kick off a step. Roberts Thompson's there on the last line and able to take the mark.
So they're playing well, the defence. Delivers in short to O'Keefe. Left back pocket on the outer side. Their lead still 21 points. Adelaide with the breeze in this quarter. Haven't scored a goal with it yet. Kicks close to the boundary on the outer side. Towards the wing off hands, rowed by Dangerfield. Got tackled, didn't quite find a target. Kennedy and Thompson, two hard bodies in that exchange. They battle hard for the footy at ground level, close to the boundary. They lock it up, it comes out. They let it go. I think they let it go from eternity. In the end, the umpire says, give it to me, boys. Umpire Stevick, and it'll be bounced through wing position out of side of Footy Park.
Johncock and Walker deep, three defenders for Sydney back there.
On the bounce, Jacobs one down the tap, trying to get it to Thompson. He fights for the loose ball. Can't get it out. And a free kick picked out, going the way of Sydney. And it's going to be Ryan O'Keefe. He'll take the free kick for too high.
He's had 14 as well, Matt.
O'Keefe goes short. Good full stretch, able to juggle the mark. In front of Van Berlo. Sort of feigned away the hand pass. Decided to go back behind his mark. Hand pass now away to Shaw, who's running across half back for Sydney. The kick looking for Hanbury. Douglas got in there and punched it away. Johncock traps the loose ball. Sloan with a hand pass over the top. Callanan has Douglas. That's where he goes by hand. Now to Vince, who runs his way through. Good challenge by Smith, who laid a hand on him. Paul Pleasure has it. Callanan running back inboard. The hand pass away to Callanan. 55 metres out. Pulls his kick. Just wide of Thompson. Should be able to trap it. One-on-one against Matner. Bouncing ball towards goal, and it might have got there. No. On the last line, Roberts Thompson, who's become his trademark move, got it through for a minor score. Sydney by 20 points. 5-2-32. Adelaide 1-6-12.
Matner with that familiar trot out of defence, but then he kicks straight into Thompson. He sees it over the boundary with a nice ricochet smother.
Adelaide certainly on top the last 5 minutes, just getting their hands of the ball, starting to get some inside 50s, but at the moment not able to hit the scoreboard enough.
Yeah, Sydney can't clear their defensive 50, Matt. Boundary throw in, Walker, third man up, straight down to Goods, who runs into trouble, pops a hand pass to Smith, and now a hand pass to Richards. Spiral punch towards the wing, looking for Jeddah. Dowdy's there as well. They're saying, what about deliberate? I wouldn't have thought so. I would not have thought so. Boundary throw in.
What else was he going for, Dan?
Well, he was going for distance. There was one given last night, which was definitely not there against Hawthorn.
I'm in agreement that it shouldn't have been paid, but he was just trying to get it deep out of the defensive area.
Jacobs one down the tap. Dangerfield trying to break out. Ryan O'Keefe is there.
As much as Sydney are under pressure at the moment, they'll be seeing this as a huge win. They're just soaking up this onslaught. Adelaide are throwing everything at them. If they can maintain this and get a cheap goal out the other side, it'll be demoralising for the Crows.
Lewis Roberts-Thompson's almost playing as a goalkeeper,
Yeah, he's playing a fair dinkum ice hockey goalkeeper role, isn't he? Just on that last line.
Ryan O'Keefe with the blood rule, so he'll come to the bench.
Well, what Sydney are doing, they're just, I think Douglas is coming up as a forward to put some pressure on. They're just dropping a wingman back to play on Douglas, which then gives us Robert Thompson free, and he's certainly making life very difficult to try and get past him.
Adelaide's only goal, the 12-minute mark of the opening term through Taylor Walker. Sydney have kicked 3 goals in this term. The crowd starting to have their piece. Sydney by 20 points, 18 minutes played in the second term, 5-2-32 to Adelaide, 1-6-12. Players back in a position. The bounce on half forward for Adelaide. Mumford one down the tap, got it to Bird. Hanbury quickly gets a kick away. Bouncing ball, coming out to meet it, but missing it was McKay. Pike wins it, got it to Morton, now to Goods. Long kick inside the vacant 50. The foot race is going to be on. Jeddah leads the way. Dowdy trying to challenge. Jeddah traps the loose ball, swings the shot on goal and kicks it. I know who I'd back in that foot race. Lewis Jeddah, far too quick. And he kicks his first goal of the afternoon. Sydney with 4 goals in this second quarter. 6-2-38. Adelaide 1-6-12.
I'm probably not sure of what else they can do there. Goods' running ability. Now, Van Berlo, Jamo, from all reports, is a freak with his running ability, but Goods has just been able to get goal-sided in the last 2 or 3 times out of stoppage, and there's probably no one in the competition once Goods is up and running, Craig, that can go with him, but it is a real dangerous matchup, and now he's actually put himself on ball, so it'll be interesting to see if Van Berlo goes with him there.
Have you seen their setups around the boundary thrown and ball-ups? It looks to see their attacking side. Sydney, they've got all the players behind there.
Yeah, Hanbury and those guys are setting up for a little handball back or a hit back, and hence why Hanbury and O'Keefe are probably getting a fair bit of the ball.
Matty Primus with us on Grandstand AFL. Adam Goods received a hand pass from Kennedy. Fumbled it originally, now he gathers on the broadcast wing. Shapes a hand pass outside now. On the left jack. Kicks inside 50. Two-handing it down. Good play by Talia, the rising star. Bumped off it momentarily. Getting a hand pass out was Morton, who's been okay up there. He's been lively and industrious. Then he lays a tackle, but just a bit high. And it's going to be a free kick to the Adelaide Crows. Taken by young Sam Shaw in the back pocket.
14-23 inside 50s, and Adelaide had kicked 1 goal off 6.
Shaw plays on, kicks towards the half-back flank, flying high Tippett, can't take the mark, whacked on by Melcheski. Jack is there, Thompson beats him, under pressure, handballs defensively to Douglas, kicks Adelaide with a half-distance pass to Doughty. He'll switch play to the outer side, outside the centre square. Mark taken by Dangerfield, off he goes Patrick, gets away from Reed, kicks towards half forward, pulled the kick, good pass Van Berlo on the 50, they need a goal, and the skipper delivers. That's more like the free-flowing football of the Adelaide Crows. Some loose men in the middle, Van Berlo puts it through, their first goal since the 12-minute mark of the opening term. Still some work to do though, 2-6-18. Sydney a 6-2-38 with 22 gone in the second quarter.
Well, it was clearly their best result, wasn't it, too? They've been able to transition, go out wide, they've got the free player. Smith's been able to take a couple of bounces, come back inside, and Nathan Van Berlo has been able to find some space, which they haven't been able to do.
4 goals straight, Sydney in this term, Adelaide 1 goal 3. The margin back to 20 points. Matt Clinch and Dan Lonian calling into action. Craig Bolton, Rod Jamieson and Matthew Primus, your experts. From the restart, Adelaide with the clearance. Right with a hand pass over the top to Van Berlo. Inside the attacking 50. Richards and Walker one-on-one. The ball comes out to Smith, but a free kick for too high. Ted Richards, who's been instrumental in this second quarter, takes the free kick. Long kick. Goods one-on-one with Van Berlo. Half back for Sydney. Goods is happy to see the boundary line. And the ball goes across. Anthony Tucker down on the boundary.
Good news for Ryan O'Keefe and the Swans. He's had 15 disposals already in this first half. He just come back on, had a little nick around the left eye. He's been strapped up and he's back out there.
Thrown back in. Jacobs gets to front position. Mumford got him out of the way and one down the tap. Trying to knock it out as right for the Crows. Well tackled by Kennedy. Ball stuck underneath a couple of players. Umpire happy to let it go for the moment. Now Adelaide players appealing for a free kick and the umpire is going to oblige. Tough call on Dan Hanbury, who was on the bottom of the pack. Thompson gets up, quickly gives the hand pass to Dangerfield. Tippett comes out to greet the bouncing ball. Well tackled by Johnson. Tippett knocks out the loose ball. Sliding in is Vince. He's tackled by 3 Sydney players. Needs to knock it out. O'Keefe traps it. He's tackled. And now the umpire has to bounce it. 40 metres out from the Adelaide goal. Sydney by 20 points, approaching time on in the second term.
Thompson's had a huge quarter this quarter. He's up to 12 touches now after only having 4 in the first quarter.
Tap down by Mumford, comes out to Thompson again. Kicks it high. Scotty Thompson 40 metres out, misses to the right hand side. 2-7-19 Adelaide. Sydney 6-2-38. Lead 19 points, 24 gone.
He's second behind for the quarter two. Another kick to Patrick Dangerfield just coming in and just really getting Tippett to get behind the footy, but had it been laced out, you turn around and have a shot on goal.
Milcheski kicks to himself, bearing down for Trinko. Heads to the outer side. Reed there, almost took the mark low down. Bustling hard to try and get possession, can't. Talia's right with him. 2 good young players there. Boundary thrown at half forward for Adelaide on the outer side, who are mounting another challenge.
Thrown back in. Jacobs against Mumford. Jacobs one down the tap, got it to right. Now to Van Berlo. John Cock has a little bit of space. Gets to 52 metres out, loaded up. And missed everything to the near side. Out of bounds on the full.
Starting to dominate some of these clearances too now.
Yeah.
Adelaide really just starting to get some inside 50s out of it and some real deep ball.
Game's opening up a bit, isn't it? You can see that this pressure that Sydney have put on, they've shown they can't sustain it, or they haven't been able to for 4 quarters, and this is a real danger period for them now.
Margin still 19 points. Malcheski went short to Ted Richards, looking for Roberts Thompson. Walker was able to get a fist into it and trap the loose ball. Hand pass to Tippett a little bit wide. Well tackled. Nick Smith has it for Sydney. Swings onto the right boot. Dowdy couldn't hold the mark over McGlynn. Jetta nudged underneath it by Smith. And the ball goes out of play, 60 metres out from the Adelaide goal.
Toss back into play. Can the Crows get another one before half time? Mumford taps it down. Didn't make a lot of that as Adelaide get numbers around the contest. Push it inside, attacking 50. Paul Pleaser, well tackled, lost control of it. Loose ball, Hanbury. Handballs to O'Keefe. Feeds to Mattner. He's off on another trot, Marty, around the outer side. On the left, kicks into open territory. Jude Bolton will be his target if he can run onto it. Doesn't get there. Taken by McKay. Slugs the Jude Bolton tackle. That was brilliant by McKay of Adelaide. In short, no mark taken. Whacked away. The target was Petrenko. Mattner pounces on a loose ball at half-back. Turns his opponent inside out, the former Crow. Kicks nicely to Jetta on the wing.
Jetta just happy to hold up play for a moment. 26 minutes played in the second term. Chips the ball over the top to Jude Bolton. Game 299. Jude Bolton spots a player on half forward. It's Bird. He plays on. Kick looking for Goods. One-on-one with Smith. Strong grab by Adam Goods. Takes the mark 48 metres out on a tight angle up against the boundary.
He's one that's having a big impact at the moment too. He's 2 goals, he's gone short.
Looking for O'Keefe through his hands. Sloan trying to trap the loose ball. Gave it away to Smith. Adelaide out of defence. Found right. Play on's the call. Hand pass over the top to Vince. 2-on-1 goes backwards though to right. Just pulls his kick. It was a clever option and Sloan took the mark. Out of sight on the logo. Rory Sloan wants to play on. Long kick. Petrenko the target. 2-on-1. Somehow made it to the back of the pack. Tippett able to trap it. Bouncing ball to the last line. Reece Shaw got back. Able to trap it right on the goal line. Plays on and a couple of bounces. Runs out of defence. Shaw's had 3 bounces. Now outside the defensive 50. Clever kick. Good mark taken by Kennedy. Will go short to McVeigh. Bounce just eluded him and now across the boundary line. A throw in just wide of the Sydney interchange bench. The Swans by 19 points. 6-2-38. Adelaide 2-7-19.
Poor execution from Kennedy. His efficiency by foot only 20%, but he's very good at this. The clearance breaks tackles again. Handballs towards O'Keefe. A hand pass to Hanbury. Kicks towards the wing. At ground level, Dangerfield's there. Chipping in. Well played by the Swans to lock it up on the wing. Comes out now in the direction of Jack. On the left, kicks to half forward. It's all Adelaide. Rutten beats Pike in a one-on-one. Quite comfortably at half-back. Humps the hand pass to Riley. Riley running across half-back, defending at the southern end. Runs away from Morton. Delivers now in the direction of Shaw. Goods is hotly pressing him. Shaw can't take it cleanly near the Adelaide dugout. And there'll be a boundary throw-in on that outer side at half-forward for Sydney, who remain on 6-2-38. They haven't scored for a while. The Crows at 2-7-19.
Thrown back in. Pike against Jacobs, taken by O'Keefe. Kick inside the 50, and Goods has the mark. Another strong mark from Adam Goods. This time on a slightly better angle. He'll kick from about 40 metres out on a little bit worse than a 45-degree angle.
He's brought his A game today, hasn't he? Adam Goods. There's been a lot made about his form over the last month. It hasn't been fantastic. It hasn't been poor either, but it just hasn't been up to his usual standard. Today he's on fire. 13 disposals, kicked a couple of goals already, but he just looks up and about.
A big kick for the Adelaide. The Sydney skipper comes in and kicks truly. What a goal from Adam Goods right on the verge of half-time. He has his third, and Sydney return to a 25-point lead. 7-2-44. Adelaide 2-7-19.
From an Adelaide perspective, their setups around the boundary throw-ins, again, clearly getting beaten in that area. They are getting smashed. Kieran Jack, Hanbury, Kennedy are just nailing Adelaide at the moment, which is allowing them to take advantage of first use and get the footy forward. And in doing so, Goods is pushing down and spending more time in that forward 50 where he's becoming so dangerous. 3 goals to this particular time. Adelaide have got so much improvement, but Sydney are just putting him to the sword, Matty.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what changes Sando does after half-time, or they just continue with what they've been doing and just try and become better at it, because it has held him in pretty good stead all year.
35 goals for the season for Goods. The clearance to Jack. Kicks high towards half-forward. John Cox gone down into defence and takes the mark. Half-back on the outer side. Will feed a hand pass wide to Riley. Riley delivers beautifully. Good mark taken by Thompson, skirting the boundary. There's the siren as he poked the kick inside 50. Mark was taken by Johnson anyway. It's been Sydney's half. They had the breeze in the opening term to the northern end. We didn't think they did enough with it. 2-1. In that quarter, they were into the breeze and kicked 5-1. Go figure. Sydney 7-2-44. Adelaide in reverse. 2-7-19. The Swans lead 25 at half-time. For the Swans, Goods has kicked 3, 1 each to Reid, McGlynn, Jetta and Mitch Morton, while for Adelaide, Taylor Walker and Nathan Van Berlo, their goal kickers, just 1 on each quarter for the home team. Sydney at half-time in the second qualifying final. The winner will get a week off and then a home preliminary final. The loser, well, they will play either Geelong or Fremantle. They play in an elimination final tonight at the MCG. You'll hear it on Grandstand. But Sydney 7-2-44, the Crows 2-7-19 at half-time.
Craig Bolton, Rod Jamieson and Matthew Primus, your experts on Grandstand AFL this afternoon.
Well, by all evidence, Adelaide should be at least in this game, if not a long way ahead. They dominated that quarter. Their possession, the inside 50s, they're running all over the top of the Sydney Swans, but they could not, for the life of them, convert. Their ball entry inside 50, they could not capitalise upon that. When they had shots, yet again, they missed them. On the other side, Sydney, their opportunities going forward were rare, but when they got them, they took them. Adam Goods stood up, kicked another couple of goals. They only went in there a few times that quarter, but when they went in there was time, there was space for their forwards to do their stuff, and they looked dangerous. At the moment, it looks like Adelaide are on top all over the ground. They're winning the stoppages, they're winning the clearances. They can obviously be more effective in how they're doing that, but they're not capitalising on their chances going into their forward line. and they're going to have to find a better way to structure up and make sure they get some actually good efficiency and good return out of the amount of ball they're getting to their forwards at the moment.
Contested footy, Adelaide, Sydney, 69 apiece at half-time too, but touched on it just before the half-time siren, where you look at Hanbury 18, O'Keefe 18, Kennedy 17, Goods 14, but look at Kennedy's contested footy, 11, clearly out winning a lot of his immediate opponents, with Adelaide in that particular area. Matty Wright's got 7, and then you work down to 6s and 5s, and they're just getting on top and using the football, being able to put back and penetrating, getting forward, congesting the footy up. Adelaide very, very wasteful. So Brenton Sanders' message at half-time will be saying, fellas, we're not that far out of the game. We're 4 goals, but we're just getting smashed around the football and not using it as well as we should be. Now, that's around the ground and when we're going forward. We have to find a better way. When they did go forward in that particular quarter, Nathan Van Berlo was able to score. That was their best movement in that first half, to be able to move it and transition from the half back down to the forward line. And they just need to somehow manufacture more of that, Matty. They have to.
Yeah, look, they have to. It's, to have, 30 inside 50s to 16, you'd be happy with that. Look, their midfield is still on top, and even though I think we mentioned before, Kennedy's efficiency was at 20%, Hanbury's is at 29, but, Thompson's only at 44, Vince is at 43, Dangerfield's at 33, Sloane's at 100%, but he's only had 8 touches, so they're really on top of their midfield. They're defending, as we know Sydney can do. If Adelaide can just try and get a little bit clearer, just work for each other a little bit more, create some better matches down deeper in their forward line. With that ball, where they've been able to get it inside 50, no matter if they're going with the win or into the win, you'd think they'd be able to start to get that scoreboard ticking over. But, Sydney, they've been impressive, and they work so hard. When they've got the ball in their back line, their midfielders just work so hard to get out on the wings and give them a release to it, and then they've created some really great run out of that. So, look, Sydney would be wrapped for it. They'd be saying, right, let's steel ourselves for 15 minutes against Adelaide, and then we're in the ball game, as you said before, Craig. They'll then just suck it up for another 15 minutes, and they'll be pretty confident they'll be able to get over the line towards the end of the game.
Former Port Adelaide coach Matthew Primus, Craig Bolton and Rod Jamieson, your experts on Grandstand AFL. Half-time here at Football Park in the second qualifying final. Sydney by 25 points, 7-2-44 to Adelaide 2-7-19. In that quarter, 5 goals straight to Adelaide 1-4.
And Luke Parker for the Swans.
I saw Jude Bolton had a little bit of strapping man on his upper thigh, so we'll keep an eye on that. And I noticed too that one of the trainers is obviously massaging that area at the moment. Second half underway. Adelaide some work to do. It's socket for the Swans, forward to O'Keefe. Gets a hurried boot to ball, squeezes about 10 metres. Good hand pass, Mumford, shaking the tackle, McGlynn. Pike handballs to O'Keefe. Beats 1, beats 2, but he's surrounded. On the non-preferred right, has to kick high towards the pocket. Camped underneath it, Sam Shaw. Couldn't quite hang on to the mark for the Adelaide Crows. The Swans had numbers around the contest. 25 metres out from the goal, they're attacking, and there'll be a bounce. Good result for Sydney.
Just seeing Mumford just work so hard forward from that centre clearance as well. And having a look at that, Jacobs has only had 3 disposals, 16 hit-outs. Mumford, the other one, only 1 disposal and 12 hit-outs.
Deep in attack for Sydney. Mumford taps it to O'Keefe. High up and under kick. Coming out to meet it was Morton. Had a bit of space, swung onto the right boot. Shot on goal, just missing. And through for a minor score.
Adelaide really tried to hold 6 forwards out then, so it'd be interesting if they get a midfield stoppage whether they try and do that. And looked like Smith was going to Goods and Van Berlo was playing a half forward role.
So McKay will kick to himself. He'll head towards the commentary side. McVeigh put a lot of pressure on him. Kicks to Tippett, who attacked it. Couldn't take the mark at ground level, Hanbury. He was stripped of it as he tried to break free at half forward. Opportunity, Vince gets a hurried boot to ball, rolls along the turf. Good play by Van Berlo. Got the hand pass out in the direction of Paul Pleasure. Slipped over, then regains his footing. Kicks to the wing. John Cock there. Smith, discipline, comes across his bows. Nice defensive fist attacking side of the wing for the Adelaide Crows.
See how many forwards Adelaide try and pull back here and see if they change anything that different.
So at the moment, Walker 1-on-1 inside the attacking 50. Thrown back in. Mumford got rid of Jacobs, got it to Kennedy. Hand pass to Hanbury. From the inside of the boot, snaps the ball forward, but Rutten in a better position than Pike. And Ben Rutten on right half back for Adelaide. Spots Smith. Short pass, he marks just in front of the interchange on the members' side. Smith has right short, Adam Goods filling the hole. Decides to go to right. He takes the mark. Now the all-important kick inside the 50. Long ball. John Cock will fly from the front. Well punched away by Smith. Unable to be trapped there by Big Mumford. Finding his way through as Dowdy. Got it away to Petrenko. Just fighting it backwards, giving up ground at the moment. Van Berlo couldn't trap it. Reed has it for the Swans. Hand pass over the top by O'Keefe. Found good. Vacant space in front of him. The kick well measured. The mark taken by McGlynn. Slips the hand pass away to Jack. Inside the attacking 50. McVeigh one-on-one. McKay went to ground. Won the free kick. It was hard in your mouth kind of stuff, but David McKay won the free kick.
I
don't reckon they need to play on then, Sydney. They just need to wait for the numbers to come back there and try and hold it up a little bit.
Kicks to Sloane, close to the boundary on the outer side. Clearing defensive 50. Wheels inboard Rory Sloane. Kicks long towards the contest. Van Berlo's there, coming late. Poor pleasure. Ball hits the ground. He crumbs it nicely. Picks it up on the left for the Crows. Swings the kick to Big Tex. Taylor Walker can't take it cleanly. Richards right with him out of bounds at half forward.
Just same at the moment, really. Adelaide just couldn't use the footy slow. They couldn't go down the line, so they went long. And then when it actually went to Sydney's forward area, as Adelaide are going to receive a free.
Adelaide a free, or I think O'Keefe's saying it's his free.
Well, the umpire up the other end was pointing to Adelaide's way.
Confuse you.
Free kick to Mumford from the ruck contest. Handballs to O'Keefe. Yet another possession. Kicks to Big Pike. Clean bowls him. It's out of bounds. Anthony Tucker.
Drew Bolton down is back on. As you mentioned, he had strapping on his left knee as it was. So the one that he injured about a month ago. So have a little look and see how he goes in the next 5 or 10 minutes.
Going back in. Jacobs and Mumford. Ball tapped down. Taken by Sydney, who only got it to half forward. Intercepted by McKay, who kicks to the long lead at half forward. And Adelaide through Douglas. One way then the other. Hand pass to Sloane. Sold him into trouble. Good tackle by Hanbury. Ball bounces out to half forward. Walker able to trap it. By hand to Douglas. Now the kick to one-on-one. Tip it in a wrestle. The kick never made it to him. And the mark taken by Johnson, who's able to intercept. Short to Reece Shaw, who can do likewise. And McVeigh takes the mark. Half back for Sydney. They lead by 26 points. A piercing kick into the middle of the ground, just over the head of Kennedy. Couldn't hang on. Sloane with the interception for the Crows. Kicks to Dangerfield. On half forward inside the 50. Paul Pleasure diving forward, couldn't hold on. Johnson able to trap the loose ball. Comes out the winner. Short pass to Reece Shaw, who takes the mark.
Oh, gee.
Missed the opportunity before Adelaide, didn't they? That one long to tip it, I think, and they chose not to kick the long ball.
And Paul Pleasure almost hauled that in. Wasn't far away, I reckon, from being paid. Shaw squares it up to Richards inside defensive 50. Handballs to Shaw, who runs behind him, looking to switch play. Loves to run. Pops the hand pass over the top while being confronted to Roberts Thompson. Swings it out to the outer side. Jetta miles in front of his opponent in Smith. Takes the mark on the outer wing. Sydney by 26 points. Lovely spearing pass. Morton has been okay, giving them some life up forward at right half forward. Kicks Sydney inside 50 now. Goods can't mark it. It may still fall for Adam Goods. Doesn't get a good bounce. Lays a good tackle. 25 out from their attacking goal at the southern end. Adelaide free kick in the last line of defence. Coming up with it, Rutten. And he swings it to Doughty on the broadcast side at half back. It's still Adelaide 2-7-19, Sydney 7-3-45.
Adelaide lucky to get out of jail then too. Tactically coming off the bench, Jetta went straight to the other side, picked off the footy, and then that allowed Goods to go forward, and ultimately probably should have taken the mark.
Doughty went short to right, who gave away the hand pass to Douglas, and a messy passage of play, and the ball goes out of play.
Geez, they're defending as a cohesive unit at the moment, the Swans. They get the ball in the half back line there, the Crows, and immediately they're all manned up. They've just got no one to go to. They cannot get that easy get-out kick.
Going back in, Jacobs swats it down to Sloane. No clean possession. Thompson becomes the tackler. And it's free kick for holding the ball. That seemed unlikely. Big Shane Mumford is on the bottom of the pack, and Ryan O'Keefe was there as well.
Not convinced Mumford even had that, Matt.
So Scott Thompson to take the free kick.
Shut them down well again, haven't they? Long down the line.
And the members' wing, not a lot of options. Tippett flew right in the back of Matner. He started with his hands in the middle of the back, and Matner wins the free kick. Marty Matner on left half back for Sydney. Goods wants it short. Will kick longer than him. Pike the target one-on-one with Rutten. Rutten worked him underneath the contest. Reed with a hand pass, just too slick for Bird. Thompson with his head down, taken by Shaw. Tied up against the boundary line, kick smothered. Eventually it'll roll across. Paul Pleasure can't keep it in. We'll have a throw in on half forward for Sydney. They lead by 26 points. 7 minutes played in the third term on Grandstand AFL.
Completely smothering them, Sydney. Just into attack. Jacobs the tap. Sloan is there. Rides a couple of bumps and tackles. Gets away from problems. Kicks his team on the broadcast side to half forward over the head of Smith and Johncock. Taken by Tippett. Runs away now. Handballs to Johncock. Could open it up. Kicks to a one-on-one. Walker and Richards. Richards knocked it to ground. Arriving Douglas. Slips over. Looks to hand pass. Gets boot to ball towards the goal square. Smith's in the way again. Johncock in pursuit. Farms a 20-metre hand pass. Are out of trouble again. Jetta takes it. He's off to the races. Skips around the outer side of the bounce. Kicks towards half forward. Running onto it now. Big Mumford feeds over the top now. Jude Bolton doesn't get the bounce he wanted. McGlynn lends him support. He's at right half forward. Little McGlynn now for the Swans. Bangs long to fall forward. No mark taken by Reid. Opportunity, Jude Bolton again overrunning it. Picked up by Morton. Hand pass too slick for Bolton. Goes in hard, lays a tackle, but gives the free kick away. Adelaide free kick in the back pocket. The lead still 26 points for the Swans.
Thompson was taken high with the short pass, finds Dowdy still inside the defensive 50.
I wonder what it's like to run that fast. Lewis Jetta's just amazing, isn't he?
Dowdy gives the hand pass back to Thompson. Long kick to the broadcast side. In a wrestle, Tippett able to beat Roberts Thompson. A rare win for the Adelaide forwards. Short pass back into the corridor. Mark taken by Dowdy.
Adelaide are really holding 6 forwards, and that's why the last 3 or 4 times they've been able to get Tippett, Walker, here it is again. They've been able to get their forwards, their key forwards, one-on-one 3 or 4 times, and they're looking a lot more dangerous when they're going inside 50 now.
Such a different look, isn't it? You look upfield, you see one-on-one battles all over the park, and you get that quick play on which we saw them through the middle. So take a mark, give a handball to a runner, and you know you got one-on-one matchups up ahead. Looks like a much better structure.
Michael Dowdy too involved on a couple of occasions to come inside, and Paul Pleasure providing the run.
It was a good pass from Jason Paul Pleasure to Taylor Walker, who had a metre on his opponent. It's a 45-degree angle. He'll kick from about 35 metres out. Kicked Adelaide's first goal of the match. They need another one. Walker comes in, pokes at it. It's offline to the left-hand side. And a minor score. Sydney's lead, 25 points, 7-3-45. Adelaide 2-8-20 through 10 minutes in the third term on Grandstand AFL.
In short, Reece Shaw, not a good kick. It's intercepted. Picked up by McKay. Can he make them pay? No, he doesn't. He misses to the right-hand side. Reece Shaw can turn it over at times.
Matty, as a coach, how frustrating. You kicked 2 goals 9. You've had all the play. How frustrating is that final kick not being able to convert on that as a coach?
Yeah, it'd be frustrating, Sando, but he'd be trying to, at least we're continually having shots, and hopefully it'll turn, but he'll be more frustrated if it does cost him the game.
Reece Shaw played onto himself, long kick to half back. Reid brought it down. The hand pass from Bird back into the corridor. Got it back from Jetta. Now to Malcheski. Sweeping hand pass to the outer side. Johnson needs to get around a couple of Crows defenders. Goes backwards by hand to Malcheski. Into the corridor to Lewis Jetta. At true half back. Jetta can poke the ball over the top. Bird takes the mark and plays on immediately. Long kick inside the 50. Goods in a one-on-one wrestle. Almost took the mark. Ball comes down at ground level. McGlynn pulls his kick. Kick looking for McVeigh. Taken by Jack. Hand pass back to McVeigh. Diving in again is McGlynn. Can't knock it out. Adelaide with numbers. Sloan's hand pass intercepted. O'Keefe gives it away by hand to Kennedy. Kick partially smothered. Goods goes in and tries to win the loose ball. Taken by Jack. Gave it away to Kennedy. Well tackled. No free kick. O'Keefe picks up the loose ball. His kick is smothered. Tight footy in confined areas, and the ball eventually goes out of play. A throw in 40 metres out from Sydney's goal. They lead by 24 points.
Nearly 12 minutes without a goal for either team in this third quarter. Boundary throw in 40 out from the Swans goal. It's tapped down, rode brilliantly by Dangerfield. Handballs to Riley. Hurried boot the ball by Brent Riley. Walker picks it up at half back. Quick hand pass. Taken now by Riley towards the wing to Johncock. Beats a couple. Good shepherding by Callanan allows him through. Delivers towards half forward. Walker couldn't take the mark. Richards does well to hold him. Tackles him. He's penalised. Holding the ball. Try to get boot the ball. Mown down by Richards. and he'll take the free kick at half-back. Their defence outstanding again.
Well, the defence was outstanding, but every contest was one-on-one. They weren't able to have the free Sydney, so I reckon Adelaide just got to keep persevering with this and they'll be able to hit the scoreboard soon.
So Malcheski now to the outer side to Reece Shaw, looking for Jude Bolton, one-on-one with Riley, and the kick goes out of play.
Easy to say, but I thought that was the wrong option. I thought he had, he had Wright running down the outside, and he came inside, and the kick was just to the wrong side of Taylor Walker, which allowed Richards to get a hold of him.
Throw in on half forward for Sydney. Tippett won the free kick. Dangerfield takes the advantage. He's running on the outer wing. A couple of bounces. Jenner offers the chase. Got him. Dangerfield got the hand pass away. Tied up against the boundary line. Sydney with the numbers. Hand pass by Reece Shaw to O'Keefe. Now to Nick Smith. Kick off the outside of the boot to Shaw. Hand pass, look away, looking for Jetta. Tied up against the boundary line, has some time. Picks up the ball, kicks off a step. Riley in the prime position. Kennedy comes from the side. Bird offers support for Sydney. Can't get a hand pass away. Riley wins the loose ball. The 1-2. Got it back from Sloane. Wasteful hand pass. Taken away by Malcheski. Swings it in the middle of the ground. Mark taken by Morton. Wants to move it quickly. Goods one-on-one inside the 50. That's the direction he goes. Over the back. The foot race is on. McKay's there to offer support. Malcheski pressuring him. McKay swings it to the broadcast side. Petrenko should be able to mark. Had it, lost it, out of play. Slid on his knees and lost the ball. Throw in 55.
It's a bit of game of basketball here, isn't it? It's up and down a little bit, and I reckon there's some real tight plays, hence why there's been a few mistakes the last 5 or so minutes.
Long way to go yet, though. Sydney still by 4 goals. We remain goalless. Nearly 14 minutes in the third quarter. Jacobs arrives, taps it down to Petrenko, trying to get involved in the game. Off the edge of the boot. Tumbles a terrible kick, which Richards couldn't mark on the wing. Roberts-Thompson paddles it well. Under pressure to Richards. Now to Reece Shaw. Hops the kick to Kennedy. He marks on the wing in front of our commentary position. Just his third possession this quarter, 19th of the match. His disposal by foot has let him down a bit today. That's better. Has to go backwards to Reece Shaw, who look to open it up. Deliver a kick to Malcheski. He'll be tackled in the middle of the ground. Dubbo to get a hand pass out. Not a good one for Matner. It's intercepted by Vince. He is surrounded. Back edge centre square. Handball to Dangerfield. Has to go backwards. Pressure immense. Sloane lends him support. Takes the footy. Kicks on the left. And it opens up around the outer side for Callanan.
Callanan takes the mark. Plays on. Reece Shaw happy to corral him. Callanan goes for Walker. Sliding in. Couldn't hold on to the mark. Said Richards on hands and knees. The steadying influence gave away the hand pass to Matner. To Jetta on half back. Short pass to Hanbury. Can give the hand pass to Malcheski. Sydney with the run off half back. A piercing kick to half forward. Morton couldn't mark. Thompson running away from goal. Gets the hand pass away. Well trapped by Smith. Swings the ball into the middle of the ground. Johncock has it and the Crows have numbers. Hand pass away to Wright. Running hard on the broadcast side. Walker the target. Punched away by Richards. Great defence. Taken by O'Keefe. Into the middle of the ground. McVeigh takes the mark. He's got Reece Shaw on the outer side. That's the direction he swings.
Shaw had the sun on his eyes but grabs it on the bounce. Feeds a hand pass it over. Cooks Jetta, bad play. McKay intercepts for the Crows. Handballs to Vince. Hooks a kick around the body and the mark is taken inside the boundary on the outer side by Sloane. Kicks down the line for Callanan. That's a horrible kick. That's out of bounds on the full. They've turned it over.
It's amazing. Both teams are working that hard defensively, and then offensively they're turning the ball over, and then the other team's getting it. No team can just take that advantage to just try and slow it down, which it looks like Sydney might try and do here a bit.
Teddy Richards, outstanding in defence. If you want an advertisement for why he should be All-Australian, those last 2 contests on Taylor Walker were just super.
And Taylor Walker's gone again twice, and both times taken a really long time to get up and stretching. So
the defenders looking after each other here.
Malcheski back to Smith. Back to Malcheski. And in short to McGlynn. Still at half back on the outer side. Stabs a kick in the direction of Goods. Did he mark that? Not quite. Loose ball. Adelaide with numbers. Still loose on the outer side. Scott Thompson on hands and knees. Players putting their bodies in. Can Hanbury get free? Tries to, as does Kennedy. Still loose. Now Doughty a hand pass. Vince's kick was affected. It slips though to the Adelaide Crows. Jacobs. Handball's in the middle. He gets it back from Doughty. And now they can set up some run. Taken by Brodie Smith. Handball's over the top. Out wide to Callanan. In short to Walker. That's better. He takes the mark millimetres from the turf. Starting to get some run. And Walker just getting away from Richards. Had a bit of space. He'll kick from 45 metres out directly in front.
It was well manufactured, well crafted, but gee, the pressure from Sydney just applied. The handball went back and they were hoping there was a teammate there, and lucky for Adelaide there was.
And he needs to kick this. Yeah. This is how big's this kick in the context of his game? He's missed a few. Really needs to step up here. If you're a key forward, you put yourself in a situation where, come these times, it's on your shoulders.
For the first goal of the second half, we're nearly 18 minutes into it. Adelaide trail by 4 goals. Walker's 48 out, and he's hit the post. Still goalless in this quarter. 2:10:22. Sydney are 7-3-45 on Grandstand AFL. Anthony Tucker.
Big crowd here today, Dan. 44,849. Patrick Dangerfield just pulled up a little bit sore about 5 minutes ago in the middle of the football park. Came off a bit of a rub on his hamstring glute area, but he's back on for the Crows.
Malcheski plays onto himself, goes short to Johnson. Deep in defence for Sydney.
Inside 50s, 8 to Adelaide, 6 to Sydney in this third quarter.
Johnson loads up, Pike the target, strong mark. Able to mark in front of Jacobs.
Really trying to slow the game down, aren't they, Sydney? Just they realise it's a frenetic pace and just trying to take some time out of the game and try and dominate with some time in possession.
Daniel Hanbury jumping up and down on the spot. Pike couldn't see him, went longer. Ball brought down by Kieran Jack, fighting for the loose ball. Rutten's in there, he can't get it out. Sydney players diving on top. Adelaide players appealing for a free kick. We'll have a bounce just short of half forward for the Swans. 18 minutes played. Sydney by 23 points. 7-3-45. Adelaide 2-10-22. From the bounce, Jacobs wins down the tap. Wright's able to get it. Quick hand pass away to Douglas. In front of the interchange gates. Douglas goes for Tippett. Able to take the mark in front of Richards. Walker's off the ground, so not a great deal of options inside the attacking 50. Van Berlo offers the short pass. Callinan's there. Tippett goes back into the corridor. Mark taken by Doughty. Doughty will go back and Rutten takes the mark.
You almost just screw punted and bomb it into the forward 50 just to try and get over the top in a time like this, or not?
I reckon you just get that's a too shallow inside 50. Goes 40 metres out and it's easy for Sydney to rebound it. So maybe the message come out for them to try and slow it down a bit too, perhaps.
Rutten to half forward to Thompson. Now the kick. Tippett brings it down inside the 50. Taken by Kennedy though for the Swans. Hand pass away to Bird. To Reeve. Runners all around the contest for Sydney. Jack had to swing his way out of trouble. Good tackle by Thompson. Play on's the call. Bird bumps as he kicks it out of bounds on the full. Adelaide free kick to Michael Doughty.
Good pressure by the Crows. 23 points the lead over the Swans. Doughty kicks close to the boundary on the broadcast side. Sydney 4-on-1. Tap down. Rode by Callanan. Hugging the boundary. Kicks towards the opposite side. And Sloan is there with Malcheski, the two number 9s off hands. Not a bad result for the Crows. It's out of bounds at the southern end of the ground. 2:10:22 Adelaide. Sydney is 7-3-45. 20 gone third quarter on Grandstand AFL.
Going back in deep in attack for Adelaide. They've had all the possession but can't score. Sydney with the clearance. Taken away by McVeigh. Hand pass over the top to O'Keefe. Looking for Mumford. 1-on-1 with Rutten. Kick over the head. Favoured Ruffin. But bounce didn't. Mumford traps it. Hand pass over the top. Foot races on. Shaw fighting hard with Morton. Jack's there as well. Shaw went to ground. Good tackle by Doughty. Too high.
Big play, that one. Big play.
Doughty will plead his case, but it's a Sydney free kick.
Adam Goods deep here.
Kieran Jack to get to his feet to take the free kick.
What a day Ryan O'Keefe's had. 29 to this point, 12 contested footy.
Just short of half forward, goes for the short pass looking for Goods. Ben McGlynn wins a free kick for too high. So Ben McGlynn is 55 metres out. You'd think this is well beyond him. He just sits it up off a step to the hot spot. Kennedy in the front. Mumford. O'Keefe from the back. Couldn't hang on. Sydney have the numbers. Kennedy with a kick from a footstep. It's offline to the right hand side and a minus score. Sydney by 23. 7-3. 7-4, 46 to Adelaide 2-10-22.
If the breeze is still a factor, Sydney are kicking with it to the northern end and haven't scored a goal.
What about McGlynn's kick? Just that left foot pop up. It was unusual.
Laconic is probably... But I tell you what, Josh Kennedy still managed to get that shot away at goal being tackled.
McKay receives, kept running. He got the old 1-2 from Van Berlo in the middle. Tried to pull the kick towards Doughty. Got a bad bounce. Now he handballs to Walker. Slips the tackle and then got leg advantage. Mackay kept running. kicks long to an open goal. It bounces. Chance for Sloane. Beats an opponent. Swings around. They need a goal. They get a goal. It was all about the bounce. It hit better for Sloane. Swung around and they get the first goal of the second half, their home team. And that will ignite the crowd. They're 3:10:28. Sydney is 7:4:46. 22 and a half gone.
It's only 3 goals, isn't it? But in the context of it, 10 goals only been to this particular point, and the first goal for this quarter, how tight. And this is where the game will start to open up. Both sides have got tired players. It's, I guess, the crowd, get the momentum. If Adelaide can just get a clearance here where they have struggled, go into three-quarter time and really turn it on the last quarter.
Sydney have put Goods behind the ball now as a loose with a couple of minutes to go, so Sydney are just trying to hang on till three-quarter time, and Adelaide, geez, wouldn't they dearly love another goal before then.
23 minutes played in the third term. Rory Sloane gets the goal the Crows so desperately wanted. Jacobs wins down the tap. Thompson trying to break his way clear. Mumford fights for the loose ball. McVeigh with a hand pass out of the middle. Bolton with the clearance. Inside the 50. Morton almost. Did he claim it on the second grab? He did. Great contested mark from Mitch Morton.
Centre square clearance. They're worth their weight in gold, aren't they?
He's been alright, Mitch Morton, hasn't he? He's played a role.
Both occasions, Sydney too have been able to do that from the stoppage in the middle of the ground. Just the one kick, isn't it?
It's a good grab, isn't it? Two on one, takes the grab, and like I said, just the benefit of that quick clearance. Kicked almost 70 goals, or over 70 goals this year, playing in the reserves predominantly for the whole year with the twos, but certainly knows where the big sticks are, and he's looked dangerous at times today, Mitch Morton.
Jamo, we're just talking about that left foot kick from McGlynn. It looks like he's being subbed off, perhaps due to quad injury or something.
Bit of a delay as Scott Thompson comes off for the blood rule. Mitch Morton has one goal next to his name. It's a big kick to respond to the Adelaide goal. He does so. The answering goal came up in less than a minute, and Sydney restore the margin to 24 points. 8-4-52. Adelaide 3-10-28. Morton has his second. Anthony Tucker down on the boundary.
Yeah, Ben McGlynn's just come off a couple of minutes ago. Ice on the right hamstring at the moment. He's just sitting down on that ice, and Scott Thompson off with a bit of a nasty gash to the head, but I think he'll be trussed up and back on shortly.
And he didn't look good, did he, Benny McGlynn, when he kicked that ball coming in from about 60 metres. He kicked it not even off a step, really. He just dropped the ball onto his left foot and pounded it in, and it was a few quizzical looks in the commentary box, but it was obvious that there was something up. Hopefully it's not too bad. Obviously at this stage of the year you don't want any sort of decent hamstring injury.
Back to 4 goals, close to three-quarter time. Kennedy wins the clearance from the Mumford tap. Down to Drew Bolton, had the kick smothered. Taken though by McVeigh. Heard the voice of Bird, so he handballed it out wide. And he does likewise to Mattner on the non-preferred right on the outer side. Marty is not a right footer, he's a left footer. And to the delight of his old supporters, Adelaide, it's out of bounds on the full. Adelaide free kick at half-back.
It's as far as out of bounds you're going to get it, isn't it? That's about 20 rows back.
Yes, win for the pie.
Gaudio short. Paul Pleasure offers the lead. Has the ball at half-back, has numbers backwards, that's where he'll go. Mark taken inside the defensive 50 by Riley. Hand pass over the top to Vince. Now the kick looking for Rutten just in front of him. Pike offering the chase. McVeigh got in the middle and pinched the loose ball. Hand pass away to Hanbury, to Reece Shaw. Now to Adam Goods at left half forward. And Goods just happy to hold up play as the siren for three-quarter time rings out. After Sydney led by 25 points at half time, they lead by 24 at three-quarter time. Sydney 8-4-52 to Adelaide 3-10-28. Just one goal apiece in that quarter. Adam Goods has 3 goals for Sydney. Mitch Morton has 2. Individuals to Reid, McGlynn and Lewis Jetta, with Ben McGlynn subbed out of the match. Adelaide's goals all individual. Van Berlo, Sloane and Taylor Walker. Three-quarter time at Football Park. Sydney by 24 points. This is Grandstand AFL on ABC Local Radio and Digital Radio.
Sydney by 4 goals. And the reward for the winner today, a week off, and they'll need it after this taxing match and a home preliminary final in a fortnight.
Sydney lead by 24 points. Final term underway Jacobs up against Mumford. Mumford one down the tap. Got it to Kennedy. To McVeigh, who gets the clearance out of the middle. Long kick. Riley's the loose man. Had to sit and was able to take the mark.
Sydney have started with an extra, a 7th defender, which has obviously given Riley free. So an interesting tactic to do that straight up.
Anthony Tucker down on the boundary.
Well, Kieran Jack has been come off the blood rule and just got the helmet put back on and almost went on the field before play, but the interchange steward did well to stop him from going on to make an extra player. The sub Luke Parker on for Ben McGlynn, who's off with a right hamstring injury. Aidan Riley still the sub for the Crows.
Dowdy turned it over for the Crows. Matner took the mark, got it to McVeigh, and now back to Matner. High up and under ball. Pike comes in from the side, but strong mark by the Rising Star winner in Daniel Talia. Kicks looking for Dangerfield, couldn't hold on to the grab. He'll win a free kick and take advantage against McVeigh. Long kick from Dangerfield on the outer side. Walker has a metre, had one grab, lost it. Quick hand pass away. John Cox swings it at goal for the first and the final quarter. Adelaide kick truly. Graham Johncock with the goal. The defender who's played small forward all year. And Johncock comes up with a crucial goal, his 18th of the season. And Adelaide cut the lead to 18 points. Sydney 8-4-52. Adelaide 4-10-34.
Interesting was when Matner marked that ball. Sydney of all day have played on and just taken and kicked it deep. He held up. We've got to put a spare back already. It's interesting their philosophy is now just to hold on to the ball and try and take some air out of the game. When Adelaide, they're definitely up and about now and just going to try and play on it all cross.
And one of the kicks was deep as well, and it was quick and it was over the top. Walker should have taken the mark, but just Johncock being able to do what he was dirty with a turnover. Johncock was there to finish off. Great start.
Good start by Adelaide. Mumford the tap. Kennedy the clearance. A hand pass to McVeigh. Off the edge of the boot. Falls to Jude Bolton. Gets a hand pass to Hanbury, spinning by around the outer side. Kick no good. Riley reads it again, playing that loose man beautifully. His kick into the middle wasn't great. Couldn't be trapped by Wright. Then he lays a good tackle on Melcheski in the circles. Falls to Thompson. He's tackled. He lost it. Loose ball. Won by Pike. Handball to Kennedy. Outside to Goods at half forward. Met late. Affects the kick. Still plenty of distance on it. Towards the forward pocket. Fisted away by the Crows defenders at the 4. It's roved by Smith. Handball virtually to himself while he's been tackled by Morton. Then gets the hand pass off to McKay. And Talia. McKay, the L1-2, nearly stumbles at half back. Kept working his way through the maze. Rutten receives. Delivers into the middle. Tippett takes the mark. Adelaide on the move. They trail by 18.
Tippett has Paul Pleasure on the lead. The kick sat out. Paul Pleasure took both defenders out and gave away the free kick. Ryan O'Keefe, who has been everywhere, had to sit under the high ball. Possession number 30 coming up for him.
Maybe a bit sore too. Knee in the back in the contest.
A true centre half back. Ryan O'Keefe kicks long to the outer side and Mike Pike takes a strong mark. And Sydney just happy to take a moment and control the tempo. Pike with a long kick to half forward. Reid from behind, fighting against Shaw. Shaw punches it out of play. And the umpire's paid a free kick for a hold. And Sam Shaw will win the free kick.
Been good today, Shaw. Reid hasn't had much of an impact at the game. He's really stopped his run at the ball. He's obviously done his research in that respect and played well.
Round 21 Rising Star nominee. That's a poor kick. McVeigh took the intercepting mark. Hand pass to Kennedy. Short pass to Parker, the sub who's on. Good tackle laid by Rutten. Umpire has a look and says he'll bounce.
Crowd starting to get into it now and today. 44,849.
Bounced at half forward. Sydney lead by 3 goals. Big fist by O'Keefe, almost worth a kick. Made about 25 metres, well inside, attacking 50. Dowdy picks it up close to the boundary. Hotly pressed a handball to Smith. Kicks Adelaide towards half back. No mark taken by Callanan. Falls to Hanbury, received from Shaw. Handballs to Pike, back to Hanbury. Hard around the boundary, kicks inside 50. At the back, Bolton. Handballs now in the direction of snap around the body by Parker. Luke Parker, the sub. He's kicked one against the trend and Sydney have all the answers.
That's an impact, Jamo, as a sub.
That's what you're looking for, isn't it? It couldn't have been any better. Is he a left footer too? Or is he a right footer?
Right footer.
I was surprised with the handball. I thought Jude Bolton took the mark, but it must have been touched, was it? Great result.
They've answered every time this
Haven't
second
they?
half. Sloane's goal and then Morton goal. Adelaide goal straight away with Johncock, and then Sydney answered back straight again.
So it's 9-4-58 Sydney. Adelaide 4-10-34 in Grandstand AFL. 5 minutes in the last quarter.
The margin back to the three-quarter time margin. Kieran Jack comes back onto the field wearing the helmet. And Aidan Riley, the Adelaide sub, still sits on the bench with the green vest. From the bounce, Kennedy can't win the loose ball. Fighting hard for it is Dangerfield.
Sacked to spare Sydney, so now just gone 6 forwards, 6 backs.
From still inside the centre circle, the bounce, Rutten's in there. Sloan goes third man up. McVeigh knocks it to Bolton. He's able to trap it. Hand pass away to Goods. Running on to the outer wing. Bouncing ball towards Bird. Overran it. Brett Riley will get there first. Looping hand pass over the top. Taken by Vince on half-back. Short pass to Dangerfield. Wants to play on. Immediately put the foot down. Hand pass over the top to Thompson. Takes the ball on the outer wing. Long kick looking for Tippett. One-on-one with Roberts-Thompson. The ball goes over the back. The foot race is on. Tippett went there first. Trapped by Callanan. Runs to the goal square and puts it through. Ian Callanan responds with the answering goal for Adelaide. His first of the match. And it's goal for goal in the final term. Adelaide cut the margin back to 18 points. Sydney 9-4-58. Adelaide 5-10-40. 6 minutes played in the final term on Grandstand AFL.
Oh, I feel Adelaide have just got to do it. And like it was Dangerfield too with the one.
Dangerfield,
wasn't it? To be able to get that long kick in, played on straight at well. The long kick came from Thompson, but the quick play on from Dangerfield enabled Adelaide to get it deep, and a bit of luck too in the bounce.
Yeah, we haven't seen much of it today, but when it happens, and we all know what he's capable of, he just strips teams apart. Great play on by Dangerfield, and then a good long kick by Thompson to advantage, and that's what you get at the end of it.
Sydney have responded all day. What are they made of here? Scott Thompson tries to get it out. He is absolutely monstered and got one high. Got that big frame, as we know, Scott Thompson. Tried to fend them off. Gets the free kick in the middle. Delivers inside 50 for the Crows. Tippett underneath it. Spills to the back. Foot race. John Cock there. Mown down by Smith. Taken over the boundary, out of bounds in the forward pocket at the northern end. Anthony Tucker.
Aidan Riley's been subbed on for the Crows, and Ian Callanan, the last goal scorer, has been subbed out.
Interesting. Bit of a surprise there. Thrown back in, deep in attack for the Crows. Mumford one down the tap. Knocked forward by Shaw. Mumford follows up. Got it to Kennedy. Now Kieran Jack in the helmet. Kicking, trying to get out of defence. It's wide. It's out on the full. Ben Rutten will take the free kick just wide of Mike Pike on that occasion.
Only thing I can think of, but getting it in there, he's so skillful he can get it, but he is a little slow leg-wise, whereas Aidan Riley loves the physical side and gets in afterwards. So maybe just trying to, as things are slowing down, still congested, fresh legs to be able to pull away from the congested area.
Ben Rutten could have gone backwards, decided to continue long inside the 50. Riley was in there. Kennedy claims the loose ball. Reece Shaw with a quick kick out of the pack, out of bounds on the full, and the ball will come back again. Smith to take the free kick for the Crows.
Getting tight. Brodie Smith pokes the kick at right half forward to the teeth of goal. Tippett, did he mark it? No, he didn't. Not quite. Ball still alive outside Swans' defensive goal square. Emerging with it was Petrenko. Got the hand pass straight into traffic though. Sydney very, very desperate. Ball still in dispute. They clear it momentarily. Comes out to Goods. Goods will farm a long hand pass. Bird has it at half-back. Hooks around the body. Giving him run and taking the mark in the helmet is Jack.
Geez, that was a hard run from Jack. He won that ball deep in Adelaide's forward line.
He goes backwards now to Reece Shaw's given them plenty of run again today. Pops a little pass to Matner. Matner will hoist it long, close to the boundary towards half forward. Pike lost that one. Rutten read it better. He's beaten him pretty comfortably today. The reliable defender, and pops in short to Brodie Smith, marking it half back for the Crows.
They play on the short pass. They've got a loose man in Talia. He can mark on the outer wing and play on. Tippett's one-on-one inside the attacking 50. Has a metre on Roberts. Thompson couldn't claim it. Richards cleans up for Sydney. Hand pass towards the boundary line. Smith pressured. Hasn't got rid of it yet. Now a hand pass away to Kieran Jack. Knocked off the ball by Douglas. O'Keefe's there. Steadying influence on half back. Up and under kick. Pike comes out to meet it. Trapped by Bird. Hand pass to Goods, who's going to put the foot down. He's going to try and run away from Riley. He gets the half forward. A dinky kick forward. Bouncing ball. McVeigh can't trap it. Tapped it away to Morton. Swings the shot on goal. It's bouncing across the face. The foot race is on. Jenner will get there first. Slips over and runs it out of play.
A wasted chance there, wasn't it, from Morton? Could have given it back over to McVeigh and could have run into an open goal.
Had all the play. Sydney by 19 points.
And into attack at the southern end, crashing at Pike. Sloane's there, slips the tackle, has to get a hurry, boot the ball straight to O'Keefe. O'Keefe, a stand-start kick from 40. Kicks it behind.
Important point.
And it's now 19 points, you're right, Matty, 9-5-59. Adelaide 5-10-40. Anthony Tucker.
Joey Kennedy has come off, Dan, a little bit proppy. Might be a lower leg injury, so watch him when he gets back out there.
Brent Riley straight down the middle to Douglas, who goes down the middle again. Port Leisure couldn't win the wrestle in front position. Roberts Thompson gets the loose ball. John Cock providing the pressure. Backwards by hand to Matner. Kicks a pass over the top. The mark taken by Malcheski.
They're going long and direct. They've got the right idea, but they're just not getting the result, are they?
Well, the defence has been superb. Nick Smith again on Pleasure. 1-on-1. Lewis Roberts Thompson on Tippett. Ted Richards on Walker. They're winning all over the park in those battles.
Malcheski kicks long. Reed flew in the pack. Ball went over the back to Dowdy, who went short, looking for Dangerfield, and Jack was able to take the mark. Centre wing. Sydney by 19 points. Has Hanbury short. Ignores that and decides to kick long. It's smothered by Dangerfield on the mark. In fact, that might have been Douglas on the mark, and the ball will go out of play. And we'll have a throw in just short of half forward for Sydney. They lead by 19 points. 9-5-59. Adelaide 5-10-40. 11 minutes played in the final term.
Working hard, Mumford knocks at the ground. Slips out the back to Dangerfield. Wrapped up in a tackle put on him by Hanbury. Jack is close to the boundary, working a tight situation, got tackled. Ball slips to Goods. Goods will kick inside 50. Morton comes out and he takes the mark at his chest. He handballs now to Jetta. 40 out, he loves a goal. Can he make it tough for the Crows? You bet he can, with a great goal on the run, Lewis Jetta. Lead out to 25, 12 gone, final quarter. Adelaide need to score 5 to win. Jetta's kicked 2 today, they've kicked 5 all day. Sydney 10-5-65, Adelaide 5-10-40.
Well, once again, the answering goal. And Mitch Morton, I tell you what, he has been a terrific inclusion for the Swans today. Looks really dangerous up there. Missed or fluffed the goal a few minutes ago, but just a great contested mark there. Gets it onto the running Lewis Jetta, who across his body from about 45 out, converted truly. And once again, they answer. When the question's asked, they buckle down, and they've managed to go forward and kick that answering goal, put the lead out again to a really decent margin. They've been able to do it all day.
Sydney have held this 24-25 point margin for most of the match. Taken by Kieran Jack. Strong kick to half forward and a great mark taken by Craig Bird.
What about Kennedy then in the centre square? Just amazing hands.
Bird with a long kick inside the centre square. Morton the target, just couldn't hold on. Ball goes over the back. Talia traps it. Gives it away to Sloane. Long kick. There's no one on half back for the Crows. The bounce will stay in play. Fighting hard for it is Wright. He's 3 against 1. Kennedy will win it. Gives it away to Matner. The kick off the left boot. Inside the 50. Reed fighting for front position off hands. And the ball goes out of play. 45 metres out from the Sydney goal. They lead by 25 points.
The height too, it doesn't get any smaller, but the speed, when Lewis Jetta just adds some speed into a game like this, he just blows it apart.
We should just roll the tape and say Kennedy takes it. Jude Bolton takes it now, handballs to Jack, quick kick to full forward, contest along the ground between Morton and Talia. Talia wins it, gets a hurried boot to ball, rolls it towards the boundary, he's intending for the boundary, goes after it again. Morton puts his body on the line and sees it over the line, outside, attacking 50. For the Sydney Swans. Good defensive effort by Mitch Morton.
He's in trouble too, Talia. He's holding his right hand.
He is too. You're right, Rod.
Wrist.
Boundary throwing. 55 around. He'd be a bad loss, wouldn't he? Likely to play next week at this stage. Jack's there trying to grab it as the ball was slapped towards the boundary from the boundary throw-in. Eventually he can't control it out of bounds. He looks in real trouble, doesn't he?
He's done his right hand. He's certainly got it in his jumper like a sling, so...
Looked very inconspicuous. Well, nothing really happened on the replay, but obviously, by the looks of him,
shoulder or wrist?
The umpires have stopped players. Daniel Talia makes his way off the ground. Looks like the right wrist in a sling in the jumper.
Why would they stop play?
Yeah, I thought there's no stretcher, isn't it?
No.
Anyhow, Sydney will be really happy to try and keep this. You see them trying to, well, you can't see them, but they're trying to manufacture a spare here. They'll be happy just to lock this down and turn this into stoppage after stoppage after stoppage.
Thrown back in. Tippett doing the ruck work. Got it down to Dangerfield. Goods. No, it's a Sydney Adelaide free kick. It's going to Patrick Dangerfield on right half back. Dangerfield plays on, as is his will. Gets around an opponent. Takes on Mumford. Long kick from centre wing. High ball to the attacking 50. John Cock will have to beat 2. Reece Shaw from the back of the pack. Long searching hand pass. Thompson tied up against the boundary line. Falling over, traps the loose ball. Backwards by hand to right. Kick off the outside of the boot, inside the 50. No one home for the Crows. And Reece Shaw able to take the mark as Daniel Talia comes from the field.
Down a rotation now because they've made the sub with Aidan Riley coming on for Callanan. Reece Shaw kicks to the outer side. Reading it best is McKay. He's been pretty good. Bounds away and kicks inside. 50. Slown up Miles too early. Swans defence great again. Fist down to O'Keefe. It collects yet another possession. High ball towards the wing. Kennedy had it knocked away late and off hands over the line and out of bounds. 33 for O'Keefe, 31 for Kennedy. Anthony, tell us about Michael Talia.
Yeah, Daniel Talia's gone straight down to the rooms on the broadcast side, holding that right wrist or arm in a lot of pain. He was quite wide actually as he came off, and he put his arm into the jumper pretty much before the trainers even got there.
I knew I'd get Michael Talia in there somewhere, Matt.
Crows win it forward. Sloan got it away to right, to full forward. Well done by Malcheski, fought his way out. And a short pass, and Josh Kennedy, who has been everywhere for Sydney, takes the mark. It'll be possession number 32 for him. Kennedy deep in defence. The pass, Pike will fly from the front, uncontested. In the end, it was able to take the mark in front of Jacobs. And Sydney just happy to take a couple of moments off the clock. Pike slips away the hand pass to Malcheski. Long pass. Big pack. Smith punches it down. Fighting for it at ground level. Wiley can't get it out. Tied up against the boundary line. McKay's there as well. Umpire happy to let them fight it out. But now forced to come in and bounce it. Centre wing. Right up against the boundary. Sydney by 25 points. 10-5, 65. Adelaide 5-10, 40. 17 minutes played in the final term.
Got to get going now, the Crows. Taken by O'Keefe on the stoppage once more. But that kick only finds Riley, who's sagging back as a loose man at half back for Adelaide. Hand pass made McKay stretch. He's been pretty good today. He's inside defensive 50 looking to switch. Not a lot on offer. The kick's a pretty ordinary one. Puts his teammate Vince under the pump. Vince is accosted at half forward. Jude Bolton's tackling is great. He holds him up. Vince, you're under pressure, Bernie. You must try and get rid of it. But the umpire gives him the benefit of the doubt. There'll be a bounce inside, attacking 50.
I think he's pretty lucky then. I think he's really lucky. Adelaide not to get a holding the ball decision pay, with Jude Bolton inside 50. As the game's unfolding, Sydney is slowing it down and picking up so much more and holding possession of the football.
25 points the lead for the Swans, 18 minutes final quarter.
15 metres out, 50 metres out, the tap down comes to Kennedy. High ball to full forward, Morton fighting against 2. Thompson will get there first for Adelaide. Tied up against the boundary line, swings the kick forward. Sloane's able to make up ground and take the mark. On half back for Adelaide. Plays on, steps around Hanbury. The short pass, tip it off as the lead. Mattner able to intercept. He's done that so many times throughout his career.
This will just be long down the line.
Marty Mattner loads up, as Matthew Primus hinted to. Mattner long kick, Reid in front position. Punched away by Shaw. Thompson fights for the loose ball. Sydney happy to lock it in. Wright breaks it clear. Kick looking for Tippett. Well done by Roberts Thompson. Got a fist in there. Bambulo traps the loose ball. Gave it away to Jacobs. The big ruckman to half forward. Richards beats Walker. Bouncing balls loose. Petrenko gets it away to Aidan Wright. The kick looking for John Cox. Sits underneath, juggle at the mark. Nick Smith trying to contain him, but John Cox was able to hang on to it. On a 45-degree angle, he'll kick from about 35 metres out.
Adelaide just can't break that 3-goal deficit, can they? So they get back within that sort of 4 goals, 19 points at one stage, but they just can't get under the 3-goal deficit.
John Cock kicked the first goal of the final term. His side is racing against the clock now. He needs to capitalise. John Cock comes in, pokes it on its way and misses. A big let off for Sydney, off to the left-hand side, a minor score. Sydney's lead 24 points. The Swans 10-5-65, Adelaide 5-11-41.
Still need 5 goals to win, the Crows, and as we mentioned, can kick 5 goals in nearly 4 quarters. It'll take a miraculous effort from here, you think. Rhys Shaw pokes it in short, mark taken by McVeigh. Kicks high towards the half-back flank on the broadcast side. Tippett there from the side, outmarked by Sam Reid. Big play from Reid late in the match, in short to O'Keefe. Number 35, what a match he's had. Former best and fairest winner, All-Australian. With the head bandage, kicks close to the boundary. The target will be Mumford. Had it punched away by Brodie Smith. Riley receives. Handballs to John Cock. Floats it under pressure. Wobbly kick. Rhys Shaw waiting for it to bounce. Punched on by Petrenko, but it's all Sydney. Balls to Nick Smith. Left foot kicks the ripper. Jack marks at half back. The lead still 24 points for the Swans. We're into time on.
What a complete game Ryan O'Keefe he had too. Really has.
Kieran Jack, long kick to the broadcast wing. Reid punches it clear. Porplesia tries to knock it Adelaide's way. Mumford traps the ball, just got rid of it before Dangerfield tackled. Thompson, hand pass to Vince. Good tackle laid by Bird. Ball eventually flicked out, tied up against the boundary, and we'll have a throw in. Sydney will happily play stoppage after stoppage for the next 6 minutes. They lead by 24 points in front of 44,849 people here at Footy Park. Mumford wins down the tap, taken by Jack. Short pass, bouncing ball, well trapped by Vince, gave it away to Dowdy. Douglas has it on half back, steps around Bird, long kick. Walker's the target, he'll have to beat 2. Almost did enough, but the free kick played to Marty Mackner, and he'll take the ball at half back.
He's read it well, Matt, hasn't he? Just floating across half back. Played virtually as a third tall today. He goes very wide, and there's Josh Kennedy taking the mark. If O'Keefe doesn't hurt you, Rod Kennedy will hurt you. He's got a 50-metre penalty for being shoved after marking. 69 possessions between them, Kennedy and O'Keefe. And O'Keefe, in fact Kennedy I should say, 11 in this last quarter.
I don't know if he gets too many easy football, does he? He's 21 contested footy, and the amount of clear, he's just been phenomenal.
He certainly won the battle of the contested kings. Scotty Thompson 25 today.
And you have a look at O'Keefe's up there, Kennedy's there, Hanbury's there, Good's there, McVeigh's there, Jack's there. They've just smashed Adelaide in that area all day.
Left half forward. He's averaged a goal a game this year. To put it beyond doubt, Josh Kennedy's kick. Has it got it? It has! It's got it! Sydney are definitely home now. Just carried the journey at the southern end. And the lead is 5 goals, 11-5-71. Adelaide 5-11-41. Adelaide Crows supporters head for the turnstiles, and they can think about firing up the barbecues again next Saturday night, I would have thought, gentlemen.
And great reward for Josh Kennedy. Terrific finish, but what a game, what a monster game. Actually, what a monster season he's had. One of the 4 Sydney Swans nominated for All-Australian this year, and he'll push very close because there's not many better than him. You look at the likes of Sam Mitchell and obviously Scotty Thompson and these sort of inside midfielders. He is one of the best. He's consistently up there in terms of getting the footy out. And how many times have people tried to tackle him today and they've just fallen off him? He is a monster in there and just keeps getting the footy.
Sydney will host the home preliminary final. Mumford one down the tap to Jack, and on cue Kennedy has it again from inside the centre circle. Long kick to half forward. Dowdy able to take the mark for the Crows. Short pass. Dangerfield takes the mark. He's played on at every opportunity in this final term. Long kick, tip at the target, couldn't grab it. Walker fights for the loose ball. Well tackled by Mackner, thrown to the turf. McVeigh tries to knock it out. Adelaide still fighting to try and knock it forward. Sydney players dive on top of Van Berlo, and will have a bounce 40 metres out from Adelaide's goal.
Many things that Adelaide haven't done well today, but they haven't been able to take a mark. The big fellas have not been able to take a strong mark inside 50.
Throws deep in attack. Mumford wins down the tap. Fighting for it as Thompson spun his way out of a tackle. Wright tries to knock it on. Parker's there battling with him. Heading towards the boundary line. O'Keefe, who's been one of Sydney's best. He fights for the loose ball and wins the free kick too high. Ryan O'Keefe with the ball inside the defensive 50.
36 possessions. He's a magnificent player, Ryan O'Keefe. And he'll kick it down the broadcast line. Trying to take the mark was young Sam Shaw. Mumford roved and handball towards Goods, but missed him. It's out of bounds. Goods is happy with that, though. He claps it. He's found form today too. And they'll get to host the home preliminary final in a couple of weeks' time, Sydney, and try and book a spot in the grand final. Off hands. Rode by O'Keefe once more. Hurried kick. Pike attacks it. And off hands to McKay. Had the kick smothered by Jeddah. Boomerang came back to McKay. Handballs to Riley. Then gets the hand pass to Brodie Smith. Good kick, and John Cock leading. Marks it left half forward. 26 gone. They're 30 behind. They've got to get going. He kicks long and high. But again, Sydney have numbers. Getting back at the last minute. Malcheski right on the line. Shoves it through for another minor score. Margin 29 points. 5-12-42 Adelaide. The Swans 11-5, 71, 26 gone last quarter.
Malcheski goes short with the kick in. Johnson has the mark. They'll just soak up time now, Sydney. Johnson from deep in defence. Kicks to the broadcast wing. Pike and Mumford both fight for it. Taken by Sloan. Gave it to Jacobs. Now to Dangerfield. Kick to the hot spot, but no one really there. Sydney players lead the race. Taken by Richards. Can go backwards by hand. Malcheski will return it to Richards, who can kick to the outer wing. Jack has space. The ball will bounce in front of him. The bounce wasn't all that kind. Good pressure by Smith. Taken by Sloan. Kick partially smothered. Petrenko tries to knock it Adelaide's way. Sockers it off the ground. It's a high kick. It gains about 40 metres. It goes out of bounds on the full. And it will be a Sydney free kick. Malcheski to take the ball.
Dangerfield's in some trouble here. I think he caught one on the jaw from Bolton, was it? Shamo, I think.
Let's see.
That'd be a...
probably...
he's running off, so it's all right.
Smother, and he's just come up, really, and he's...
Malcheski hoisted high towards the boundary. Stays in. No one getting a clean possession. Jude Bolton throwing his body around. Tackling ferociously like the match is still in the balance at the 27-minute mark of the final quarter. He's going to have to wait a fortnight to play his 300th in a preliminary, and I dare say he'll be looking forward to the break. He's still got a few issues with that knee injury that's kept him out for 3 weeks. Terrible bounce, and it rolls out of bounds before the ruckman could get there. Right on the wing, outer side of the ground. Sydney by 29 points. Just their 11th win in 33 outings against the Crows, and their third in the past 15. Breaking the hoodoo at the best possible time in a qualifying final. Again, number of players around this contest, there'll be a bounce.
Sydney by 29 points. 28 minutes played in the final term. From the bounce, third man up, Sloan knocks it down to Thompson. Free kick for in the back. And Scott Thompson will get to his feet. Possession number 27 for him. Kick looking for Walker. Richards right there with him. Gave away the free kick. And Taylor Walker to take the ball 60 metres out from goal. Walker loads up. He'll kick as long as he can. It'll get right to the goal square. Malcheski flies, and that's a strong effort by him. Took the mark, would have won a free kick anyway. Nick Malcheski will get to his feet and rebound Sydney from the last line. So Adelaide will play the winner of Geelong and Fremantle next week here at Footy Park. High up and under ball by Malcheski. Taken by Rutten. The hand pass intercepted. McVeigh able to run it out of play. And we'll have a throw in.
He's been good, Malcheski, today too, Craig.
Been solid since coming in late in the season, and he's really given that defensive aspect down there, but his run and his ball use is obviously second to none when he's up and going.
Boundary throw in. Jacobs beats Mumford, but Sydney will win it again through Hanbury. Threads a hand pass to Richards. Matner backs up. His kick is no good. Half smothered by Scotty Thompson. He gets away from a lunging Matner. But that's the last kick of the match. The siren sounds and Sydney have produced a boil over. Big win by the Sydney Swans. They're into the preliminary final in a fortnight. After dropping their last 2 and 3 of their past 4, they've returned to form. 11-5-71, Adelaide 5-12-42.
Lift that noble banner high, shake down the thunder from the sky. What though the odds be great or small, Swans will go in and win overall, while her loyal sons are marching onward to victory.
They led all day, Sydney, by 5 points at quarter time, with the Adelaide Crows supporters give the umpires a real boo as they leave the ground. I don't think that had a real influence on the match. Set it up in the second quarter into the breach. 5-1 to lead by 25. Real arm wrestle in the third quarter. Hardly a goal kicked. Just one by each team late in the term. The lead was still 24 points at three-quarter time. Every time Adelaide goaled, Sydney responded straight away, and they're home by 29 points.
Hear the red and the white, honour the name by day and by night. Lift that noble banner high, shake down the thunder from the sky. What though the odds be great or small, Swans will go in and win overall, while her loyal sons are marching onward to victory.
Sydney into their first preliminary final since 2006. They lost the grand final in that year to the West Coast Eagles. Winners by 29 points. 11-5-71, Adelaide 5-12-42. The goal kickers, 3 for Adam Goods, 2 to Lewis Jetta and Mitch Morton. Individuals to Kennedy, Reid, McGlynn, Parker. While for Adelaide, all individual goal kickers, Van Berlo, Sloan, Walker, John Cock and Ian Callanan. Adelaide start to make their way off Football Park. They'll have some serious concerns ahead of their match against the winner of Geelong and Fremantle, with Daniel Talia leaving the field. And no doubt his wrist injury will get close attention throughout the week, and Patrick Dangerfield coming off the field right at the very end. But for Sydney, they're through to a preliminary final. They head to their loyal supporters at the northern end. And a good moment for the Sydney Swans. Craig Bolton.
Well, what do you say to that? A home preliminary final after an intense game of footy where they just kept on keeping on the Swannies. They pressured from the word go. We kept waiting for that moment when the game would open up and Adelaide would be able to capitalise on their strengths, which is running and using their best ball users, but it never really came. And well, just what a game. I mean, it's a huge effort to come over here in front of such a parochial crowd, in front of a side which is in great form in Adelaide Crows, and to come away with a win like that, they will be absolutely stoked. Home final, massive opportunity to go into a grand final. Their best players are up and running. Adam Goods came to the game today prepared to play, and it's a great return on great form today.
Oh, they were outstanding. You know, in terms of the midfield, we keep harped on it all day, but around the ground and in the middle of the ground, they just kept winning the football. And Dan, you called it. You just said almost roll the tape, and Kennedy wins another clearance, and they just kept doing it. And the way they defended, and you thought, or it was a concern, Craig, too, they could maintain and sustain the ability to play in the manner in which they were, and they were able to do it. And under pressure, and it really exposed Adelaide. I thought they really got smashed in that clearance area. They got a lot of inside 50s, and even in that last quarter, 18-13 in favour of Adelaide. The tackles too, when Sydney, they just exemplified the way that they get a hold of the game congested, but led the ways in tackles, 20-11 in that last quarter, and clearances 14-6. So just really ticked every box to have a great win and get that week off.
And Matty Primus, they restricted Adelaide's run. It was the Sydney of old, and stoppage after stoppage, they were happy to play that way all day.
Oh, look, they were to a large extent. I thought, they made a mockery of thinking they'd have to win the inside 50s to win the game. They got spanked, but look, Adelaide would be kicking themselves, I reckon, with the, if they went and had a look at their inside 50s, they'd probably nearly pull everyone out and say, geez, we could have taken a better option or a better kick or actually kicked the goal, and that'd be disappointing on their behalf. But, Sydney, just fantastic, 42-32 in the clearances. Gave Adelaide a bit of a touch up there, 11-7 I think it was in the centre square. That might not seem much, but that's another 3 or 4 more balls going your way. And then, as you spoke about, Jamo, they're on ballers. O'Keefe, I think you said he had the complete game. 37 touches and 18 contested possessions, but then he also had 14 handball received, so he had the balance of inside and outside, and they're all their on-ballers. And I thought Shaw just really worked himself well into the game, even though Petrenko was trying to go to him and shut him down. Ended up with 27 touches, and they had a great efficiency too. So look, they had a lot of things going their way and worked really hard, and a lot of planning went into that game, and they come out of it really well. And it also goes to show you, I know that the good teams always talk about it, but defence wins your premierships, and all over the ground Sydney were terrific, but geez, their back six, they didn't just win their positions, they really won it comfortably. Every single one of their backmen won their position comfortably, and in the end that's why they were able to concede some inside 50s, but still able to keep Adelaide to 5 goals.
Wonderful effort by the Sydney Swans. In the inside 50s, we keep talking about them, and I mean Adelaide to be just shattered with 59-37. O'Keefe 37 possessions, Kennedy 35, Hanbury 27, Shaw wonderful run off half-back 27, Goods with 3 goals and 22, McVeigh 22 and Jack 21. Scotty Thompson 28, you wouldn't say they were a very influential 28 though. Dowdy 26, Sloan 24, McKay 24, Vince 23 and Riley, who played quite well off half-back 23. Dangerfield well below his average of 27, he had 21. So a terrific win for the Sydney Swans. I mean, the highlight, gentlemen, obviously Josh Kennedy with 21 contested possessions. Ryan O'Keefe had 18 contested possessions, and Kieran Jack had 10. Scotty Thompson, the best for Adelaide, 17 contested possessions.
But what I love from that, you keep going across that line, Dan, and you have a look at the handball received. You go 8 tackles, Ryan O'Keefe. 9 clearances and 4 inside 50. So just a monster game right across the board.
Let's head down to the Sydney rooms. Anthony Tucker.
Yeah, exciting scenes down here, that for sure. The only one that's not too excited, unfortunately, Ben McGlynn, very, very emotional, that hamstring injury. Just down next to Jared Crouch, 2005 Premiership player. The boys are absolutely pumped. A lot of high fives. Jude Bolton's just come in. Ryan O'Keefe, very demonstrative and very happy, of course, with the result, and getting together ready for one of the most famous songs in the AFL. I'll get as close as I can here behind Adam Goods and Jude Bolton. Here we go. It's a good rendition, one of the best ones I've heard this year, and hope to speak to co-captain Jared McVeigh shortly.
So Sydney led from start to finish by 5 points at quarter time, 25 at half time, 24 at three-quarter time, and finished 29-point winners in front of 44,849 people. Sydney 11-5-71 to Adelaide 5-12-41. It means they get the automatic passage, a home preliminary final in a fortnight's time. They get a week's break. And for Adelaide, they have to bounce back here at Football Park in a week's time against the winner of Geelong and Fremantle.
We spoke, it was never going to be easy, wasn't it? The Brisbane game for Adelaide, Geelong had to do the right thing by Sydney. They were able to consolidate. They've given themselves a home final, but yet now got to cross over and do it the hard way. Play next week and still got to win to then get to the next one in the prelim, which will be up against Hawthorn if they do get that far. So they have made it enormously tough for themselves.
Yeah, it does. Haven't played through this for 3 years in a row, I think. Next to Craig, he did it to us in 2003, and 2001, 2002 we lost our first final, and you obviously get yourself up. You can't wait to play the game. Adelaide will be looking to want to come out here tomorrow and play the final, but I'd say they'd win next week, but then unfortunately you've got to get on the road and play a preliminary final away from home, and geez, they're the biggest games of the year, really, aren't they, those games? And to be able to play it away from home makes life really difficult for yourself, and now they're pitched against Hawthorn's side of the draw. It looks even more difficult, but look, all they can focus on is next week's game, lick their wounds. I'll take some positives out of this, but also be pretty bitterly disappointed that they've given up a home preliminary final.
And that was early in the season when they took on the Hawks after they won their first couple and were undefeated in the pre-season, and Hawthorn made them look second rate, probably one of their worst performances. So they've obviously got a lot of work to do if they had to get that far, but Geelong or Freo, probably Geelong, who are the favourites tonight, will be pretty tough for them here next week.
We saw, and they've clearly said that Hawthorn are the best side. They felt that they are in terms of the way that they spread and clearance work and what have you. Now, you would have said today, Sydney's given them a bit of a touch-up in that space as well. So, and Geelong will give you a chance if they're not on their ball, because they keep coming through the middle of the ground and just take you on. But if they're on song, then they are just as tough as any other side in the comp as well.
Yeah, they are. The good thing about it, I suppose, is they play either Geelong or Fremantle, and they've both had terrific victories against them here on this deck. So, that'll weigh into it. But, it's a... not that I want to get off Adelaide too much, but Sydney, you just can't talk highly enough of them. They're just so good. And in these big games, I think most people went to Adelaide just because of the form they had, but everyone had that nagging doubt, I think, in the back of their heads, like all we all did here, that, I wouldn't be surprised if Sydney can get up just by the manner, the way they play their football. And, I thought it was terrific today. And as you said at the start of the game there, Craig, the ability for them to maintain that pressure, well, they just said this is a final and we're going to make sure we don't let up, and they didn't all day.
Yeah, they did it, and other sides obviously take note of that. That's finals footy, isn't it? If you can maintain that pressure, it gives yourself every chance, and they just had winners all over the park. As a result of that pressure, it made it easier to win your position, and I thought one in particular, Lewis Roberts-Thompson, his game to go back, and he just dominated Tippett or whoever he had at any stage of the game. And they had players like that all over the place. They just managed to win and grind it out. And at the end of the day, it was a bit of it was a comprehensive victory, even though the scoreboard didn't reflect that.
And Craig, it'll be interesting as to where that match will be. I mean, you think it'll be the Olympic Stadium. It depends on what's happening with the rugby league as to whether, Canterbury have won, and if South beat Melbourne, well, they'll get a home preliminary final as well.
You're nodding your head, Matt, as if you know what's going on in the rugby league world. But
no, not at all.
Just hold that thought for a second for the moment, guys. Let's head into the Crows rooms. Joe Sullivan is down there.
Yes, Nathan Van Berlo, the captain of the Crows, has been good enough to join us after that performance. From yourself and from the playing group, have you been able to look and find as to maybe what the difference was between the Crows and the Swans today?
Not exactly at the moment, but I guess from players' point of view out there, it just felt like we were too slow to react on our defensive transition. Sydney were running hard forward when they had their opportunities. We simply weren't going hard enough with them. In saying that too, we had our chances up forward, but didn't make the most of it. So, yeah, really disappointing result for us.
Well, at half time, I think the Crows are actually in front in some key stats, and I think a similar amount of scoring shots. It was just that Sydney had put more goals on the scoreboard. Was that something you addressed at half time?
Yeah, look, 4 out of our 5 key indicators at half time were in the green, so that was, I suppose, a positive sign for us, that we just had to get a bit more accurate in front of goals and a bit better method around the fall of the ball, because they were getting some numbers back on us. But we weren't able to, I suppose, get our usual game going, which was frustrating.
Well, Sydney obviously did clamp down, and at stages it looked like they were choking the Crows forward line. Yeah,
we'll have to go and have a look at that early this week and see how we can do that better, whether it was positioning of our forwards or simply their defence. I mean, it's a bit of a blur at the moment, but we'll have to go back and check that out.
Well, one more from me before we head upstairs. Has Brenton Sanderson had a chance to have a chat with the group, or has he addressed the group at all yet?
No, not yet.
Do you know when that's likely to happen?
He doesn't normally address us after the game, so might let it sit until Monday, I think.
All right, Nathan Mabello has been good enough to join us on Grandstand AFL. Up to the commentary box.
Yeah, Nathan, Rod Jamison, commiserations, mate. I really felt that Sydney touched up in a lot of areas where you've actually been so good all year.
Yeah, and that's, contested possession, our clearance work, and probably our spread from the stoppages has been one of our highlights for the year. But as you said today, we were simply outplayed in that area, which is really disappointing. It's what we knew going into the game. If we executed that well, it would hold us in really good stead. But for the majority of the game, Sydney beat us in most of those areas, it felt.
Inside 50s too, well in advance of Adelaide's favour, but a couple of easy goals that were missed early too.
Yeah, I guess you've got to make the most of your shots in front of goal, particularly in finals, and it seemed every time Sydney went forward, they were pretty potent and made the most of it. They kicked their goals, which has a somewhat of a psychological effect at the end of the day when frustration builds in the players. So we just got to make sure we make the most of our chances and we get them, because we had enough scoring shots there to be in the game.
Nathan, Craig Bolton here. A lot made before the game about your run into this match, games against Melbourne and the Gold Coast. Was there a noticeable shift, obviously, in the pressure and the consistency of that throughout the game?
Oh, no doubt, Craig. It was that first quarter was on. It was really hot, the footy, and we knew each had to scrap it out for the first probably 20 minutes and get it going forward, as was the game last night. But felt like we came in at quarter time. We were pleased with our effort and intensity, and even at half time, as I said, our key indicators were pointing in the right direction. We just needed to tidy up a few areas, but we weren't able to do it.
And Nathan, Daniel Talia left the field in the last quarter. Have you had a chance to see him in the rooms after the game?
No, I haven't yet. No, I saw him in danger. I'll just have to wait and see how they pull up.
tougher run now for you, Nathan. I mean, obviously you get a home final again next week, but this was an opportunity today to try and set the rest of your season up. How do you find your confidence?
Yeah, obviously the boys are shattered at the moment, but got to regroup pretty quick and turn it around because we had a good enough year that we gave ourselves a double chance. So we've got that chance next week. We've got to make sure we make it count.
Nathan, thanks for having a chat to us on Grandstand AFL.
Thanks, guys.
Nathan Van Berlo, the Adelaide skipper. As Dan mentioned, they hope the quick turnaround now and face the winner of Geelong and Fremantle, of course, which is the match we'll head to in around half an hour's time. And for our news radio audience who are just about to depart us, I might get you just to give us some of the better players. Jamo from the Adelaide side and Craig from the Sydney.
Oh, it was really tough. I thought Scott Thompson's game in the end, when you look at his numbers, was actually pretty good, and maybe their best player with the inside 50s clearance work and contested footy too. I thought Michael Dowdy's run off the back line for 3 quarters was pretty solid, and trying to generate and try and create. Rory Sloane started slowly and worked his way into the game. 24 disposals, 15 contested footy. David McKay had his glimpses throughout the game. I thought Taylor Walker was limited. 1 goal, 3. Probably the clear winner up forward in terms of his opportunity to actually have a shot on goal, or even have a look at getting a good return from Adelaide's perspective. But only 5 goal scorers, all individual scorers, 6 kick behinds, and Taylor Walker kicked 3 of those. Dave McKay kicked 2, and Graham Johncock kicked 1 goal, 2, and all of that coming in the last quarter. So, look, I think there are a lot of players in that Adelaide side that really didn't have the impact on a game, and it's not a benchmark that they would have liked, and clearly didn't meet today. Sydney just too good.
And Craig?
Well, Sydney, they had winners all over the field, as we've spoken about, but their midfield was particularly dominant. Josh Kennedy, he had an outstanding game once again, 35 disposals. Ryan O'Keefe, he was in there, and he was his right-hand man for most of the day. He's like a player like Jude Bolton. He just keeps on keeping on, and an outstanding game from him. Hanbury, Kieran Jack, Adam Goods, all players who rotated through the midfield. They got plenty of the footy, and more importantly, their tackling stats. I mean, they just blew Adelaide out of the water in that area. And I thought the other area of worthy of mention is Sydney's defence. Lewis Roberts-Thompson went back there. Ted Richards was outstanding on Taylor Walker all day. Nick Smith and Marty Mattner up against his old side played such a pivotal role in rolling off his man and taking so many marks to chop off their forward thrust. So all in all, I mean, you could throw a blanket over their side. It was one of those team efforts where their pressure was just intense across the board, and plenty to like about their game today.
So Sydney winners by 29 points, 11-5, 71 to Adelaide 5-12, 42. They led from start to finish. Adam Goods finished with 3 goals, 2 to Mitch Morton and Lewis Jetta. All individual goal kickers for the Adelaide Crows. We're told that the Crows will play on Friday night. Of course, that's against the winner of Geelong and Fremantle. And then the match next Saturday night will be a 7:45 start. So for Crows fans, it looks like 8:10 on a Friday night will be the match with the winner to play of Geelong and Freo to play Adelaide. So here at Footy Park, 44,849 people saw Sydney lead from start to finish, winners by 29 points over Adelaide. And we continue on for most of our audience before we take you to the MCG. Geelong and Fremantle in the first of the elimination finals is where we take you next. But Matty, just a thought from you as to how Adelaide go about looking to rejuvenate their form, given that they have the quick turnaround, a position you've been in, no doubt, and how crucial is the next 24 hours for Brenton Sanderson?
Oh, look, it is crucial for him. Look, it was interesting to see Nathan say he doesn't talk to them after the game, so he'll address them Monday, whether he does that Monday or does it tomorrow. But even hearing Nathan say at half-time all their KPIs and what tells them they're in the game, they're out of the game, they were getting them all, and that was all saying their composure just wasn't quite there, or how they were setting up just wasn't quite working for them. So I think, knowing the year that they've had, they'd focus on what they did well, and the areas that, if we could just be a bit tidier, might have won us the game, rather than focusing actually on what Sydney did to them. I think they'll just go back to what they're good at. We've just got to get better at it. They haven't lost their ability, they haven't lost their confidence and all those sorts of things. They've had a terrific year, and they'll just look forward to getting back out on the track. And as I say, by Monday and Tuesday, the players will be licking their lips ready to get stuck into another final, and that's the way they've got to attack it. And I'm sure they will, and they'll bounce back and then worry about the week after that.
What's your view as a coach? Did you speak to your group straight after, or did you just sort of get your thoughts before you went back in as well, or did you wait till Monday?
No, I used to I always spoke to them, but something that's very, you've got the emotion of the game, and you don't want to say things that you regret. But I think it's it's always easy after a win to say a few things to them. But I think in the cold light of the day, it's better to get to them later on. But I would think Sando would probably just be saying, guys, we've missed an opportunity. It's gone. Can't do anything about it. Let's live in the moment and get ready for next week. And that's as simple as it's got to be. The players, everybody's going to be as disappointed. We're talking at the start of the game what it's like being in a two-team town. Well, for the next 3 days, they're going to have everybody saying you should have done this and you should have done this and why didn't you do this and he was no good and all this kind of stuff. They've just got to worry about they are good players. They're a good football team and bounce back next week.
It'll be front page, back page, and middle Craig too here.
I'd like to tell you the same. Although, given this, a huge win for Sydney, obviously, and this will create some momentum up there. A home final in a couple of weeks' time, plenty of momentum, plenty of players playing well. Not easy to win over here, so yeah, it will generate some enthusiasm. Maybe not the same level that'll come here following Adelaide's win.
So you were saying the SCG, it might be at the SCG?
Well, it just depends on whether the Olympic Stadium's going to be available. I mean, there's obviously going to be some rugby league. Canterbury are definitely in a home preliminary final.
Right.
The Storm and the Rabbitohs are about to start their qualifying final today. The winner of that will get a home preliminary final. It could be the Rabbitohs. So look, I'm not too sure. They might play that Friday night and.
It's interesting, isn't it?
Or the Sydney match Friday night.
All of a sudden you have some Sydney Swans players and supporters following not only the results of the AFL but also the rugby league. For the SCG, it's a different prospect. A home final is a home final and they'll take that. But if you can get the SCG in front of a packed house that's another ball game.
They've got a much better record there, haven't they? Much better.
Absolutely. They prefer to play there. They won't say that publicly, but in any case, to go to Sydney and play at Homebush or whatever ground it is, they're going to be in the box seat. They're going to come up against most likely Collingwood or the winner of that game. Who are Collingwood playing tomorrow? They're
West Coast.
West Coast, yeah. So, it'd be an interesting one if it's Collingwood. Haven't won up there since about 1980 against Collingwood. We've had a horrible run against them. And so, it augurs for a blockbuster and a great game in Sydney regardless of where it's going to be held.
I think from Adelaide perspective, that was their best side they had at Adelaide too. So it looks as if they'll lose Talia. Yep. Who do you come in? It's a Josh Jenkins, is it a Ricky Henderson, is it Andy Otten? So it's a real concern from that perspective as well. And I guess Ben McGlynn, we've seen a hammy Guerra last week too, and who's the likelihood to maybe replace him?
Well, there's a couple of points. He's not dissimilar to Guerra, actually. His role he plays in the side, it's obviously at the other end of the field, but he's such an influence. Like he's got that ball of energy and he's up and about and he's in players' faces and he's such a good player for Sydney. So he's going to be a really hard one to replace. I don't think they're going to be able to get a like for like. Who they do bring in, their depth is an issue, I think, at the Swans. We've got Tommy Walsh who can come in, but obviously he's a much taller player. Yep. Tony Armstrong's probably the most likely replacement. He's played a few games quite well later in the season, so he's the one that looks to come in. Obviously Heath Grundy to come back into the side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting as to how Adelaide go replacing Michael Taylor. You'd think Andy Otten would have to get in if he can get another match under his belt in the SANFL.
Well, they play this weekend, so he'll get another one in. So I think there'll be that like. He struggled early. He's gone back. He got injured. He came back in, got injured, and he's only just starting to find his feet again. I think Luke Thompson has been reasonably consistent. I wouldn't say outstanding for the Eagles, so they're playing this weekend too. So there's that type of player that's going to be able to come in and fill that role. But if you, when you have a look, let's look ahead. Hypothetically, say Geelong, and the key forwards that they have, and you're trying to fill a role that Tarley is going to be missing from, it's going to make it difficult for the defence of Adelaide to be able to maintain and hold on to a side like that.
Yeah, I thought the ruck duel was pretty good too. I thought they probably both cancelled each other out, possessions-wise, but they both got their hand of the ball. But in the end, Sydney were probably pretty happy with how it all panned out in the end. But I thought that was in the end, those two Mumford had 8 possessions and Jacobs had 7, and Jacobs probably gets a lot more of that. I haven't followed him too closely this year, but I thought that wasn't a bad battle with both teams probably happy with how they went.
So we look to you as a coach. You've coached. What do you say to your team now? You're in charge of Adelaide, and you've just got...
I'd rather be in charge of Sydney.
Yeah. That's what up, boys? Ice up. See you in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, exactly. Well played.
I mean, what do you... I mean, you try and find the positives too, but we got...
Oh, you do. I don't think you can focus on the negatives. I think he'll... just because it's going to be negative for them for the next 3 days. You know, it's like in Adelaide, it's going to be, you've let this go, you finish second, now you've lost them, but all that kind of stuff. So there's no need to focus on that because they're just going to get it down the street, in the paper, on the internet, and all that stuff. So they'll focus on what they were good at, where the opportunities they missed. You know, they'll look at that third quarter. Walker's 2 shots, and who else had the other point there? Who I'm not quite sure who it was, but they had 3 shots they should have kicked.
McKay.
McKay. And as we said, it was 24 points of difference. Then it's back to a goal or something like that. He'll focus on that, and that's our best footy guys. And we've just got to make sure these are finals, and you know, you got to take opportunities. If you don't, well, we get what we've got, but we've got another chance next week because we had such a good year. And I think it'd be that kind of theme for them all week.
And obviously for Sydney, Craig, how does John Longmire go about handling it?
Well, assess the damage, I think, firstly. That'll be his first point of call to see how Benny McGlynn is. But obviously, he'd be very happy with that performance. They'll go about their normal review. There's things they could have done better today, I believe. Like, they didn't get a huge amount of the ball around. Even though the midfield numbers were so dominant, they still struggled to get the ball inside 50, obviously comparative to Adelaide. So some areas of improvement for them. But I think this stage of the season, whether you win or lose, it's about trying to keep in the right mindset. So they'll be dwelling on the positives for sure. Looking forward to a couple of weeks' time. They'll sit back and assess the game next week and prepare themselves as best they can. But they'd be feeling really good about it, I'd say, coming to the preliminary final, playing at home, in great form, having finally beaten a side around the mark after a few losses in the last month.
Sydney winners by 29 points. Let's head down to their rooms with Anthony Tucker.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. And co-captain Jared McVeigh's been good enough to join me. And Jared, this has got to be the best hour after a game, the finals. There's a lot of people around. Everyone's happy. Saw you over there talking to your old teammate Brett Kirk, and also Ryan O'Keefe just shooting the breeze after a fantastic win.
Yeah, there's nothing better than away wins. As soon as we got to the airport, they had the choir going for us, and we knew it was going to be on, and just a great effort from the boys, and we get the week off and we get a home prelim, which is great.
If someone never watched Australian rules football before and someone said, this is the way the Sydney Swans play, and they watch today, that's Sydney Swans football, isn't it, today?
Yeah, definitely. Look, we think we play finals footy every week, and our game plan does stand up in that type of scenario, and we did that today. We started well, which is you have to do that when you're away, and just a super effort throughout the whole game.
The stats are going to make really interesting reading. You belted the Crows in the tackles and the clearances. Contested possession was right up, but inside 50 is really low. But you must have been happy with the conversion from a low amount of inside 50s.
Yeah, we were. Look, I think Horse spoke about that at half time. They were well ahead and were wondering what was the go, but look, they weren't really hurting us. Our defence was doing that really well, and forcing them into tough shots, and then we're working the other way, working their midfield the other way, and then hurting them ourselves.
Speaking with the co-captain of the Sydney Swans, Jared McVeigh, up to the commentary box. We've got Matt Clinch, Dan Lonergan, also Rod Jamison, Matthew Primus, and bloke Jared, Craig Bolton.
Macca, how are you, mate? Craig Bolton here. Well done today. Fantastic win, obviously, over here against the odds. The last few weeks you've come up against some tough opposition. It must be a really good feeling of confidence now amongst the group that you can actually knock off one of these top sides coming into the business end of the season.
Yeah, it is. Look, those 2 games we played against Hawthorn, Collingwood as well, really set us up, and Geelong. Look, we thought we were playing some pretty good footy. Obviously didn't get the wins, but we thought we were going all right. So it was a perfect lead up to a game here today, against the number 1 contested ball team, and to come out on top, give us a lot of confidence.
And your good mate LRT obviously had a huge shift today, a big job to go down back and play that pivotal role on one of their key forwards. He was outstanding again. Must be so valuable to have a player like that who can be the swingman, whether it be forward, back, or in the ruck.
Yeah, it was great for him. It's his birthday today as well, so that might have been a bit of an omen for him. But look, he made his name as a defender, and we spoke about that all week. He's played in the fiercest pressure of grand finals, and a really good defender. So look, he just had to get back to that, the real competitive spirit that he does have, and he showed it today.
Yeah, Jared, Rod Jamison, well done the win. What about Mitch Morton up forward too? 2 goals, but he was just a consistent target for you.
Yeah, he was good. Came in, was unlucky to be dropped for the Geelong game. Came in, took a good couple of contested mark for us, and kicked some really clutch goals, which is what we want from our forwards.
I've got to ask about Marty Matner coming from Adelaide and heading up there. I've always rated him as a player, and he maybe had a bit of a blip in his career the year before he went up there, but gee, hasn't he been so good for you guys in the back line?
Yeah, the Moose, he's really smart with the footy.
The Moose we
call him. He reads the play so well, drops off his man, and gets in front of Tippett and Walker, and just stops that the fast ball movement, and then he's provides run on the way out, and really courageous player, and played well again today.
Got a bit of a zoo up in Sydney with a horse and the moose.
Yeah, there is. There's a few about.
And Macca, early signs. Benny McGlynn obviously looked pretty shattered coming off the ground, and looked from up here to be a hamstring injury. How's he looking? Is he pretty sore in the rooms at this stage?
Yeah, he was a bit upset just before, but from all reports, they think it's not that bad. So we'll just wait and see. Obviously, he's done some kind of hamstring injury, but I don't think it's that bad. Hopefully.
Jared, we keep singing the praises of Josh Kennedy. 35 possessions, 21 contested. He's fast becoming one of the best players in the competition. How good is he for your football team now?
Yeah, look, he's produced all year. He's playing on Thompson and Dangerfield was perfect for him. Because they're ball players, and so is Joey. And just monstering guys in there. Really getting the hands out to the runners on the outside. That's his role, and that's what he's good at. He's hard, he's clean, and you need those types of players in finals footy.
So a week off. What's happening at this stage, or is it too early to know exactly what John's got planned for you guys in the lead up to your home preliminary final in a fortnight?
I wouldn't mind a couple of days off, but I'm not sure about that. No, I think they'll go through it, a bit later tonight, and we've played we've had the week off in 2006, so they might go along the same lines, and still train hard, but rest up.
We were just talking up here, Jared, too, Adelaide being the fishbowl it is. Does anyone in Sydney realise you're actually going to be in a prelim now?
I hope so.
Sneak under the radar?
I hope so. Look, we've had really good support this year, so as many fans as we can get out to ANZ Stadium for a chance to get in the grand final is a huge thing, and we've got that now, and we've just got to take that opportunity.
Jared, obviously very close to claiming the minor premiership, but 2 tough games to finish with. What does this do for the confidence of the group to know what's achievable for the year, and the fact that you can probably beat anyone now at home?
Yeah, look, we came over here, really confident. We knew it was just us 22 players on our own. We had to create our own energy. We did that. We started well against a quality team, and you have to do that in finals footy. And to get back home, we hope our fans can be as hostile as it was today, and we can get over the line.
Jared, well played today. Rest up. We'll see you in a fortnight.
Thanks, boys.
Jared McVeigh, co-captain of Sydney, joining us on Grandstand. AFL Sydney winners by 29 points over Adelaide, 11-5-71 to the Crows, 5-12-42. Let's head straight into the Sydney press conference. Their coach John Longmire has just sat down.
John, is that pretty much the plan?
Yeah, I mean, we planned it during the week to try and play that sort of strong contested footy, and we knew what the strengths of Adelaide were, and